it seemed like they had counter-stratted RRQ very heavily, so maybe RRQ being caught off guard just a tad bit. But RRQ, I mean, here's the thing. Timing-wise, this is a week where they really want to prove themselves to continue to be in the running for the playoffs, but they're up against the #1 team.
Yeah, and moving forward from here, RRQ will be facing off Global Esports and Paper X, who have also proven, you know, how strong they are. Talon, you know, they had their first win last week, and we don't know how that'll go. DRX, on the other hand, Tasteless, they'll be facing, you know, 3 teams. It might be smooth sailing from here for them.
Yeah, I mean, Detonation, I mean, they're certainly doable. Team Secret, I think they're tough to fight, but again, doable. T1, I think as, you know, this event continues to expand week and week, we are seeing that there are real cracks in the Korean teams. I mean, we just saw it here with Genji actually getting smashed by Global Esports. But T1, you know, they've fought well. They are high ranked. They are having to work really, really hard for every single win. The matches, the whole maps themselves have become very, very long. And, you know, truth be told, it's not the case with DRX. They're having very short, explosive rounds. They've only lost 1 map to Genji.
And close with Global Esports, even though it's a 2-0. But you're right.
They've basically been dumpstering.
Yeah.
They've been killing.
Yeah.
And they have no intentions on stopping.
Yeah. I mean, when you have someone like Mako on your team, that's... What do
yeah,
you do?
I mean, you have Mako.
Against a guy like that.
And then, I mean, really, you could just name off the entire roster, right? Including, obviously, Stax, not just in his fragging, but as the IGL as well.
Yeah.
A lot of fans now recognizing Stax as one of, you know, kind of the worldwide IGLs that you got to give credit to. He's the one leading the squad, and they look unbeatable for now. Within Pacific as well. Yeah.
Yes. Well, there's another player, Buzz. Let's actually talk about our key players. So you guys highlighted these two as the ones to watch out for, Buzz and Elmi Moore. Or if you say it like in the French, L'amour.
L'amour is my first cast with this team. Yeah, not the easiest name to read and not the easiest player to play
I like the
against.
French way.
Yeah.
L'amour. Like, you know, he's just all about love.
It's going to be fun to watch these two guys interacting. Buzz, you know, this guy has... I've said this example before, but I'll use it again. I mean, if he's an RPG character, it's like all of his stats are maxed out. You know, he is unstoppable. And it's going to be interesting to see these two guys dueling and duking it out as we go into map 1.
Yeah, my big question is I think the one interesting stat line, if we were to compare them, is that Elmi Moore has, you know, a significantly higher first blood rate, but that's also because RRQ relies a lot on him pushing out. Meanwhile, Buzz, he actually plays so craftily. Whenever I get to cast on the Korean side with the Korean casters, we always say that Buzz is that guy you never want to meet in solo queue because he just makes you mad, right? It's not because he's always getting the best kills, but he just knows how to toy with his opponents, where sometimes he doesn't greet the kill anymore. He just runs away just to buy space, just to buy time. He plays very crafty Valorant. Whereas Elmi Moore, because he has such good aim, and because the team kind of entrusts this role to him, he's always designated to be this lurker who goes out and gets these singular kills on his own. But that also means while he gets some good first bloods, he's also rarely the one last alive to lock things down. He'll, you know, do a couple impact kills and then, you know, kind of fizzle out in the middle of the round as he gets overpowered. So the question is RRQ, do they have a bit more variation in their macro play where it's not just Elmi Moore hold that side of the map, we'll take care of this side, but maybe mix things up a little bit more, right? Maybe have Elmi Moore play a bit more of a passive intel game rather than trying to pick out these 1v1 duels.
With that, let's lay out the predictions. Let's lay out the predictions.
By the way, I got something to say about predictions.
Do you?
A few weeks ago, on my way back home from the studio, I found out that RRQ was actually having dinner right by my house.
Oh.
So I popped in there and had some barbecue with them. And they were telling me, keep predicting against us. They said it's working out. Is
that why?
They said, we see what you guys are doing. We get it. Keep doing that. And so I said, okay, DRX wins.
Oh, that's why you picked DRX.
Yes,
okay,
why.
all right.
RRQ, this is for you.
Yeah, otherwise you would have picked RRQ. But they convinced you.
Yeah, I said, all right, well, if you say so. I moved the Ouija board over here, and now they're going to win the game. So
Yeah. I mean, okay, what are we expecting? Like a 3? You know, we're gonna go to the 3rd game, or is it? What do you?
Okay,
I hope so.
How strong?
I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it.
All right, say it.
The only way I see us going to map 3 is if RRQ has cooked them something crazy on Bind.
Ooh.
Because Bind has been out of the picture. While DRX has played this map quite well in the past, there have been some changes. Now there's Foxy9 in the role. It goes to reason that DRX probably haven't practiced it too much, not heavily yet. But then they've also been wanting to hide their Lotus, right? For whatever
Yeah.
reason. Maybe they just don't feel like it's perfect yet. So now it's kind of balls in your court, DRX. Do you ban Lotus first or do you ban Bind first? And meanwhile, RRQ, have you tried to target this and prepare to bind comp? I mean, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
What do you think about it? Do you think DRX hasn't been practicing bind? I feel like DRX seems like a team that's
Well,
also been
no,
practicing.
they've definitely been practicing it.
Yeah, but I know what you mean.
No, I feel like they're such a bulletproof team. One of the things Flip said to me is he just said, when you look at DRX, they really seem to be playing perfect Valorant. It is inspirational. Obviously, RRQ's hungry. They want to win this. They're going to give it their all, but they are fully aware of what they're going up against.
Yeah, honestly, I think every single team has said this. It's almost they say it on their socials, like, if we lose against DRX, like, does it even count as a game? It's sort of like a throwaway.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough opponent,
Yeah.
right? It's more of a challenge mode for you just to try to see how far you've grown. And we'll see RRQ. Can they at least prove that in the progress?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think we're going to see a triple duelist comp like the way Talon did against
Probably
DRX. But it'd be really cool to see a bind pick. And RRQ, they're a bit unpredictable because they have been inconsistent. But this could be it. Who knows? Let's go over the stage and see the walkout, see the energy and what they're made of. You're watching VCT Pacific Week 6. Are we going to see another Korea Giant upset in the next matchup, or will DRX continue to carry the crown?
This is going to be a fun one. RRQ has really started to look more and more confident. At the same time, DRX has been so bulletproof, so stellar, so untouchable. It's hard to imagine a world where there's even a 2-1 here with an RRQ victory. I would love to have a long series, but the truth is, DRX,
overtime,
I'd love to have 3 games overtime. I'd love to pitch my tent and get my sleeping bag out for the evening. But the truth is, I think we all know the reality of the difficulty, the challenge here for RRQ. But hey, we've had upsets before.
What is that? Is that the Harry Potter thing?
Yeah.
No, he jinxed it. No, it's a sign.
Oh, he jinxed him. He jinxed
It's the first missed high five / fist bump.
I mean, last week.
It's a bad omen.
Yeah, last week when Envy was denied the fist bump from Zenfree, what did he do? He took it personally and really stomped all over DFM.
That looked like wand waving, though.
I think it was a wand. At first, I thought maybe he was trying to fence against Mako, but then it looked like a wand. So maybe trying to put a spell on the star player of DRX, and now, of course, the coaches Termi and Ewok. Obviously Termi, we know what great work he's been doing with the rest of his coaching staff in Glow and Argency over here for DRX. But then Ewok as well. I mean, you can tell that he's been putting the work in, and it just needs a little bit more time. And something that I know Ewok has talked to us about whenever I've had the chance to talk to him is one of the biggest things that they've had to work on fundamentally is, of course, the language barrier, right? Just like Global Esports, they are one of those teams that has to first go over that hurdle to build the chemistry. Now, Global Esports has proven that they're already on this positive stride. It's now RRQ's turn to say that we're also going in that same direction.
The crowds are pretty excited today. It's actually the first time I think I've heard, the crowd screaming during the walkouts.
Yeah,
So I think they're pumped up for this match.
Well, we saw one of the days I was casting RRQ, I saw some fans show up for them. They were the most vocal fans I have ever seen.
Yeah, the RRQ ones.
Yeah,
so it's not necessarily the DRX ones.
Yeah. It's always possible there are some DRX ones, but my bet it was the RRQ ones. So a big day for these guys here. Obviously, they know this is going to be the most difficult challenge yet of their careers. They're ready to go. No missed fist bumps, thank God.
Right, they put a hex on Mako. That's going to change everything.
Yeah.
We'll see if it works. Now, the other big thing is, I know a lot of the RRQ players, they've also always kind of pinpointed Stacks as a player they want to beat, in a duel or in a match, just because of obviously the rapport he has and the skill he brings. Okay, so it's a Lotus ban. And
No!
Wait,
RRQ!
RRQ ban's fine?
Why?
I'm curious, because I wonder if they expected DRX to go to bind with just some old comfort picks. I mean, that is a map that DRX has, enjoyed in the past. No surprise that Split is picked up then in exchange. I mean, this is the map that gave some trouble when Global Esports picked it against DRX.
Fracture now gone, as is Ascent here. RRQ taking that map out as well. That's going to leave us with our final map, Pearl, or Earl, as it looks right now.
Okay, so looking at the overall maps, other than the bind switch up, I mean, that's kind of a coin toss. Obviously, we don't know what's been going on in the scrims for either team. But I think it's as good as you can hope for on the side of RRQ, right? While DRX is great at Haven and RRQ didn't have much success against T1, they can also identify the weaknesses that T1 targeted on that Haven map and try to brush that up. Haven also, just as a 3-site map, does give you a couple extra chances to go for these Hail Mary plays compared to a map like Ascent. So now, take a look if there's been any changes in agent composition here.
Is this a mirror?
Looks like it
No, there's an Astra.
well, no, not a mirror, but yeah, it looks like it's just going to be the same.
Almost, yeah. The same idea, certainly.
Well, the same comps,
difference.
what I was going to say was the same comps that the teams have been playing as I was trying to continue my train of thought there.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, it's tried and true, right? The Sovas, the Breaches, the Jets, Killjoys, and Astra and Omen, it's really kind of a pick of do you want to focus more with the Omen on your attacking side versus the Astra more on your defensive side, especially that C site, much easier to hold if you have an Astra.
It's going to be a fun one. Again, if DRX continues this forward, they are just going to remain the tyrants here of the region. But if RRQ could actually pull a rabbit out of their hat and have a miracle best of 3, that would be one of the best stories of our tournament.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I've got Foxy 9 on the Jet. So surprising.
Shocking, really.
Shocking.
Yeah, it is absolutely shocking. Maybe he'll do things with those blades. I think we are ready to go to map 1. Best of luck to RRQ. We love you. Hope to see the best. We're going to go to Haven for map 1, and we've got our casters, Quack, who predicted RRQ's win, and Achilleos, who stands on the ground of reality and chose DRX. Over to you guys.
Thank you very much. Well, Quack has already gotten one of the predictions right today, so we'll see if we've given the new guy the script or if, it's going to be a 50-50 split here today.
Could be. I don't know. I'm just kind of dreaming every day of my life, so who knows what's going to happen. I do think it's interesting, though, because why would you not play bind? Like, that was their one chance to kind of maybe surprise DRX, but, maybe they have some other plans in mind.
It would be a curveball for sure, but I do believe that DRX, at least retroactively, still have a lot of comfort left over on bind.
Yes.
But they also have plenty of comfort on both of the maps that are being played here today. We hear the fan cheers coming out here supporting DRX.
They gonna do it?
Plenty of fans. They've already done it.
Oh, I missed it. Well, I mean, if anything, I think this is, again, one of those things where if you look at Haven and Split, DRX are undefeated on them, at least in Pacific, but, it's also one of their strongest maps. It's going to be tough for RQ to say the least.
Yeah.
But if anything, perhaps Split will be that difference maker. Here on Haven, though, we've seen how crazy DRX can be. There was an 11-1 first half last week against Gen G.
Yeah, it was very dominant. Gen G able to rally back a bit, make that into I believe, a 13-7 scoreline at the end of it all. But for now, very quiet.
Started out.
They are now going to start pushing forward. Flash not going to confirm anything. Dart goes into the backside. Does get the ping reveal here on the Foxy 9. Actually takes the dash over the side. Has covering fire. The peel for Buzz. Swing around onto the flank. We'll have to see if it happens. But for now, Buzz swinging out onto the site. Pharaoh going to be good for one. Foxy finding a second. Stacks and Mako as well getting involved. And it's going to be Stacks finishing the job. Just Buzz taken down. As DRX will go ahead and get the first pistol round for themselves.
That happened a lot quicker than I expected, Achilleos. I mean, we start things off with an interesting approach. We had the flashes, we had the right calls. We blinded DRX. They actually did manage to get on top of the box, but as soon as the cloud burst dissipated, as soon as a lot of the players kind of recovered themselves, you can see that RRQ didn't quite follow through on the execute. They were a little bit slow to push out a C-Long, and DRX were able to take them down one by one, bit by bit, especially up by logs.
I was curious to see how that was going to go, just because right now in Pacific, DRX's pistol round wins on this map haven't been great. They're 1-3, now 2-3.
Oh.
After taking that one away. But, I mean, you were kind of talking about it, how strong they've been on this map. They haven't lost on Haven since the lower final versus Optic at Champions last year. So it's been a good long while. And we've seen it from them 7 times between then and now.
And you know what else? It's always the same classic agent composition. You never change it up.
Yeah.
On the other side, RRQ, you know, Astra instead of Yeoman, I don't know how useful it's going to be. But you're going to have to try your darndest. You're already eating a shock dart, and then there's a spray.
Blind spray through, that's EJ gone, so a lot of your entry power now eliminated. Flip Shutter as well, tagged down to 47 from that previous shock dart. An immense amount of value found from RB right off the rip here. Stacks anticipating a recon perhaps, but looks like it's going to be a shift over towards A as Foxy does get tagged. Not going to dissipate. No, the shot not quite going to connect.
Does tag 2G a little, but not to worry.
That was the dart earlier.
All right.
30 seconds left.
It's going to be the push in through B all of a sudden, and Stacks has their number.
One enemy remaining.
Allowing Mako to get it. Okay, well,
Spike
we
down
will
mid.
avoid a flawless. Mako going to be good for a third. Go ahead and close it out with a 2-0 beginning here for DRX.
It's really simple, easy, clean takes from DRX.
Just good honest Valorant.
Yes, just good honest. I mean, that's kind of what they were talking about on the desk as well. It's good, it's honest, it's kind of almost tactically perfect. It's so hard to find these mistakes because they're spread out across the map. They have clear map control. They have clear protocols to kind of just relay off of each other if need be. And at the same time, everyone has that individual fragging potential. RRQ needs so much just to take one side away.
Homegrown, grass-fed, non-GMO, MSG filled Valorant.
That's right.
And now we go into the buy round here for RRQ. See what they can manage. For now, just contact up in the garage. The turret needs to be cleared. Okay, finally get it there. Not too much damage, just 7 taken there from EJ. Still plenty to work with, but again, it's RQ slowing things down the early rounds, just trying to deny some of this util away from DRX.
Yes, and that's what you need. Taking off a turret really helps you buy a little bit more map control, maybe sell a bit of a fake, and you're just trading utility, trading positions. I don't know how DRX reacts off of this, though. I mean, Foxy's not deterred.
Star comes up, they're trying to get him across. Elmimore jumping up onto the box, may have just saved him. Foxy gonna still stick around and wanted to re-peek. Wisely ends up backing away, but the stun does connect. Dart now into backside. Ping comes across, EJ spotted, RB able to spray him down, gets the tink across onto Xpharaoh as well, putting him at 46. Now we'll rotate up to heaven, try to get ready for some shock darts here to dissuade the spike plant.
30 seconds left.
Listening for it.
They're planning underneath. Dart goes down, Flips not getting too much damage there. So Widely is going to be feeling okay. Thrown now over the top. They spawn him. Here's the drop out of heaven.
Wow.
China going to be taken out, but 2 kills going to be traded back. Sphera and Elmimore finding them. RB getting a second as well. Now it's just Stacks with 7 HP and a Sheriff and a Dream. See if he can try to convert this bonus, but Xpharaoh maybe get that elimination. He sat back. Elmimore leading the charge, gets the headshot just through the corner of the wall. And RRQ will get themselves on the board, albeit in a fairly costly round. 3 weapons left on the ground.
I mean, it was such an interesting way that DRX defended the site. You see those plays from Foxy, and he's just getting information for the team. Of course, maybe a tag, a kill would have been good. But when it comes down to it, it's EJ dashing in, and they instantly notice Spring inside of that Cloudburst. At the same time, you talked about it, setting up for the shock dart to deny the spike plant, the way that they waterfall down off of the window. It's all set up perfectly, even with the paranoia from Mako. Just comes down to it, RRQ had more firepower, and they knew how to hold around short, around long.
Dart the scout long off the rip, gravity well as well. Going to be invested, trying to get a catch here onto RB. Now Sad back, the drone, starting to push forward. Turns away and just sprays through. The Cloudburst comes down. Fantastic game sense, the jiggle peek as well. Spotting out on a few, sends a shock dart their way. We'll send another one. Look better. Nimble on his feet, able to avoid the damage. As Xvero grabs the orb, and now he does have a Hunter's Fury available.
That could be useful. Clear on delay some pushes, if anything. You have a minute left to work with Elmi Moore.
Oh boy. I mean, he's being watched by 2 different players, Stax and Mako. Both have this little crossfire set up towards short. Wouldn't be a hard adjustment for Mako to make. In the meantime, Elmi Moore sticking around, going to try to get some value off this lurk. The rest of the team shifting towards C where Buzz is waiting. Jiggling on that corner in a moment. Should know that this is going to be the place that they want the spike to reside, but no, it's just going to be the fault line. And as Elmi Moore, he was creeping in, giving them info. I think they've left A, so they're trying to cut back, but now they have to turn into B.
Yeah, wanted to cut them off on rotation. It's not going to happen, so B is the best site to hit, but Foxy's here with the operator.
Doesn't know how deep in they might be.
Shot.
Just catches the cloak of 2GE. Not enough for the kill quite just yet. Xvero watching that angle. Foxy not looking to overstep. After shock will buy some time. Foxy taken down, the operator lost.
Watching here.
The flash to allow RB to push in now.
Brings it a bit closer, turn from the flash, 2GE. Lines him up, finds RB. Mako going to be taken down as well. Stack's able to get one, but then ends up falling. It's all on Buzz now to try to get this clutch. The Hunter's Fury, however, is available, but it's not going to be necessary. 2GE with 3 kills will go ahead and tie things up at 2-2.
Fantastic recovery from RRQ. I mean, they knew that they were kind of discouraged from certain sites, especially C at the initial start of it. So they just make the quick adaptation to go straight to the B site, holding it from back, holding it from mid instead. Kind of threw DRX off a little bit. Eliminating Foxy 9 was so crucial in that moment. And then when it comes down to the 1-on-2 from Buzz, hiding in the little corner just meant that Buzz was going to have a tougher time clearing, especially since he was so afraid of the shot possibly coming from the back.
Yeah, and without having to invest anything, ult economy right now for the side of RRQ is looking very strong. Given that they find themselves now against an ecoing DRX, they might not have to invest any here.
Talking about ult cycles, we're holding on to ours. I do wonder what DRX has cooked up for this, though. You can never count them out in these ecos. Looking at how they've positioned themselves, long range, long sight lines. They were wanting that information. It does look like RRQ is going to commit to this.
Jay dashing forward, but not up onto the platform. So going to push around the back. Xvero in the meantime finding one. Mako able to line up the headshot, has to pull back into a safer position. Wants to TP back up top again, but they should get word of this, but no, it takes him a while to realize, but he runs out of bullets, and 2GE is able to find the kill in the end. Pushes the corner. Xvero gets RB, and now with just the shorty remaining, we'll see if Foxy 9 can find any value. Still does hold on to the tailwind, but it's got so many angles to try to clear out.
Wow.
Just feels not impossible to be able to get anything else done here.
Not quite.
Uh-oh. Good game sense.
Just a check. I mean, it's not, yeah, it is game sense, and it's also just reading your opponent's patterns. We know that DRX, we know, I mean, we saw it with Meteor as well. Always hiding inside of these smokes, always using shorties. Sometimes you start to read to it, and at the same time, you notice the spike plant coming in from Elmi Moore. That was the ult point gotten now. They've got 4 ultimates to work with. DRX surely could make it an explosive round, but let's see how it turns around. Foxy 9 does have the operator in hand as well.
That he does. 3 ults versus the near 5 as EJ's just one off the blade with the Phantom in hand. Shouldn't require that at all. It's Foxy postured up on top of the brick stack here. The Drone will reveal. Does get pinged. Not enough to force him out. Just go ahead and bounce his way across the opposite side of that smoke. Wait on that Nebula. I'm not sure if they read that EJ would have gotten tucked away in sewer.
He's hiding there, but the question is, how does DRX position themselves around it? How does the opening pick go? DRX surely fall back bit by bit, bound by bound, and that's their style. RRQ find these tiny bits of space and maybe microaggressions to push into sites like how they're going to be right now.
Get in here, but then Foxy sets up the crossfire, rotating back through the link. 2GE assessing where he wants to place these stars. Gonna be one at link, one at heaven. Entry now. EJ gets himself into the site.
Okay.
Dart at the ready. RB just waiting to hear that spike start to get planted. Quite read the angle correctly. Bit of an off one there. Widely, Xfero able to avoid damage. Buzz able to find one, however. That lurk now shut down.
Great angle though, rolling thunder through. They're gonna
They
push
push
off
it.
of this.
Oh, Mako. He does put some damage back, but eventually ends up falling. RB cutting down EJ. The push. Oh, it's the reload. Timing from Xfero. Gets caught after killing off Buzz. And that is going to be DRX getting themselves back into this. They'll wait for Foxy to rotate back over, grab the AWP, and then finish the defuse.
A lovely little approach from RRQ to just explore all facets of the map. I love what you're talking about, Achilles, with putting EJ down, up by A short. It's kind of like playing chess, if you will. You know, you set some pieces up. EJ's that bishop that has that long sight line, and at the right time, once you have your pieces going in for trades, EJ goes in to take the site. And it's often little things like that that pull Foxy 9 away from A. At the same time, though, the Rolling Thunder, while it was a good idea, didn't quite really push DRX off. They just dropped out off of heaven. They were still able to retake, and that's the one thing that you got to consider.
Well, Rolling Thunder, obviously high value, but they still do have a lockdown.
A lot of ultimates.
Yeah, RB can contend with that one. With his own Hunter's Fury. Stuns go across. Buzz just backs away from the garage. Clear on the turret. Buzz showing the gun barrel for a brief little moment there. Tries to throw down that nano. At least cuts off some of the reinforcements and getting themselves into the site. Xfero now going to be taken out. Mako backside finds the second. Easily set up from the Rolling Thunder. There's a third.
Down, C.
Just for the reload. It's not going to be an ace. RB will be able to find one. Mako could make it a fourth. Identifies where he's at. Does he try to greed for the play? Seems like the answer is going to be no. Stalwart as ever. Mako just waiting. Try to draw Elmimore into the site. Never mind. He just picks the nice timing when Elmimore's not looking at him, and he will be able to get that fourth kill in the end and a fourth round for DRX.
Too darn good. You can't really rush against DRX. Even with the full eyes, even with these risky, almost seemingly hard to read plays, EJ dashed into it, but the Rolling Thunder just delivered him into Mako's loving arms. And of course, the final frag going his way as well. It's just so darn tough. These C-split executes haven't quite been working out for RRQ, hence the timeout. 4-3 right now, and the only rounds that have been somewhat successful are the A takes, the site hits where you start to try to force out some imperfections in DRX's seemingly perfect defense.
Still though, now with the brakes pumped a little bit, RRQ going to look to course correct, get themselves back into this. Sign, of course, shouting out Mako as the GOAT. And it's hard to disagree, just given the performances that we've seen from him in Pacific as well as outside of it.
Round
Vamos
7.
for Foxy 9 as well.
Mexico. I mean, we know they love to shout Vamos. This round 7, Mako's already getting a 4K. And still sitting on so many ultimates. Both sides being somewhat conservative with these. Just trying to find the perfect moment. Trying to find a way to make these ultimates, make these rounds count.
Let us hunt.
It's already not that one-sided of the first half.
Things can spiral quickly, which is why RQ desperately going to be looking to win this round, but have bought down a bit. Yeah, Elmimore going to get picked off. Still hold on to the 2 rifles. But, oh, Buzz, has he noticed it? I think he may have.
No.
Maybe not. Oh, okay. Instead, it's going to be Xfero. Noticing Buzz just a little bit sooner.
Okay.
Mako,
Oh.
okay. I was gonna say Mako now, you know, reading. He's trying to set up for this defensive smoke to cut off C Long, but still gets caught. Xfero breaking things open. Now the spike getting brought forward into the site. EJ able to answer back and maintain this man advantage. Not much health to speak of, but EJ jumps the box and the right click takes down Stacks. What a play from him with just now 6 HP remaining. Puts Foxy9 in a dire situation.
He does have blades though, Achilleos.
He's got the blades and he's got money to buy another operator, but it seems like he doesn't want to play for it.
Take maybe a little bit too long, a little bit too much noise to rotate all the way across the map. And given how RRQ are already positioned inside a garage, yeah, maybe it is a bit of tall order for Foxy, even Foxy9, to win out this 1-on-3. Just not the right circumstances. But at the same time, I mean, consider how this round went RRQ's way. We started off with Xfero. I mean, sneaking through garage. You might have expected Mako to turn around at the right time, given how Buzz lost his life. But this is these tiny microaggressions, tiny spaces and gaps that RRQ might just be able to slip through. At the same time, though, you can never leave Foxy9 unchecked. I think that's painful.
Yeah, I mean, a good way to start things off, but in the end, EJ with these blades and 6 HP just fiercely jumping the box and nailing the right click. Fantastic to see to keep them in this one and tie it up yet again. Thrifty to pull off against DRX, always, you know, I'd say a reason for celebration.
Is tied up the score, and now we go back to a C execute. Oh boy.
For the pass hit once more. Bill goes out, they spot Elmi more, but Buzz is not ready. His weapon is undrawn, and Foxy takes out one before the Hunter's Fury claims his life.
Stacks still on site though.
Oh, the spray through. He stops the plant for now. Might realize that, yeah, he was hitting his target there. Mako with the crossfire, saves him, finds another.
Spike down.
Flip try to get taken out. Mako again holding things down from the back line, and Stacks will get Elmi more at the end.
Unbelievable.
Dynamic duo holding it down, but still, I will say RRQ pressing DRX and taking kills in ways that you might not have anticipated coming into this.
Yeah. We look at how these rounds are going. Sometimes RRQ tries to play with the pacing. It's a sudden C rush that perhaps Buzz or the rest of them weren't quite expecting. Foxy9 had the operator, but was just completely discouraged from holding any angle because of the fault lines, because of the Hunter's Fury being thrown in the mix. At the same time, though, it's just Stacks. They thought the smoke meant that they were safe enough to plant, but Stacks managed to set himself up as a turret up by plant. Cosmic Divine now. Okay.
Gets invested. Foxy, I mean, swinging into a position where he might actually peek this one, but smoke is there, and Buzz just gonna get sprayed down, and adds a slip shider. The Bulldog through the smoke. In this whole time, they're rotating themselves into A. RB obviously gonna be hearing this now. Mako TP's across to get himself up into heaven. Flip shider, or Elmi more rather. Ready for it. 2G, well, going to fall. Mako now arriving. Drops out of it and finds one. Spring Stacks into a 1v2, trying to utilize this cloud burst against EJ. So far, it's working. Sees the spike get picked up. EJ, knowing that Stacks is going to be here, just pushes out. Flips, rotates over, and Flipshider is in this lurk spot, waiting in the link. Question is, can Stacks win out on the fight? He's not even going to take it.
Wait, we're going to be Achilleos.
They are, but he could just play this from the single league side. Looks like he's going to end up doing that.
Spike planted.
Not to his knowledge, but this is Stacks making the right call.
Stacks has a full kit of utility. He's got one flash to work with.
Can he read their positions? They're both stacked up in here. Backside, spots one. Now does it both there, but it's far too late. He has overstepped, and Flipshider finds the elimination. A weapon upgrade from him as well. As RRQ just trading round after round, keeping us tied up at 5-5.
Not the half I was expecting, but a welcome one indeed. I mean, RRQ, we've seen how they position themselves backside. I think Stacks was trying to use the element of surprise, but this time just kind of surprised on his own instead, having two players to work against. And it's just so smart for EJ to actually pick up the spike and go back to B that way. Start things off by breaking the doors, discouraging any peeks. DRX hasn't really gone on the aggressive so far. except for now perhaps Foxy,
Deploying
Frenzy,
drone.
pushed up. The drone coming to check though. Oh, but it's been shot by the Sheriff.
Fault line out. Foxy has to dash back. Keep himself protected. Start fanning their way up here into a long. Dark to check close. Not going to find any damage there. Foxy with a frenzy, just looking to stay tucked in sewer, but seems like RRQ likely suspecting that they might have drawn some attention over towards the A site, so instead they want to pivot.
Back towards B. They could make it fast, so it's an easy spike plant, but it's also a really tight one. You could try to hold it, but those stars are already in place for RRQ to
30 seconds left.
What? Wait.
Okay, they're pivoting again.
Again, yes.
Mako,
Mako still has some paranoia. Oh, okay.
he holds it for now. Thinks about throwing it, but by this point it's far too late. They're already in the site. Mako managing to find one, but it seems like that's about as good as it's going to get. Foxy 9, okay, gets a headshot. The weapon in such a bad spot for him to try to retrieve it. Expecting this push out. Footsteps heard. Weapon retrieved. The headshot on the 2GE. He brings it now to a 1v2. 65 HP remaining. Spots another. Tailwind over to the side. And he can't line up Elmimore. He shuts him down, and RRQ will lock in a 6th round win.
Elmimore just stops
Last round in the
a
half.
slight centimeter right before Foxy's crosshairs. And you see how many pivots, how many rotations there were in this attacking half. I mean, attacking side from RRQ even. In that round, maybe that's the trick. Maybe that's how we force DRX to make these tiny gaps, these tiny mistakes. It's just by going back and forth so much that DRX kind of gets confused themselves. And in those rotations, RRQ will find out some of these members, one by one, bit by bit.
Foxy again, up in hand. Swings out, finds one. Flip Shatter going to be taken down, pulls the blades. EJ matching, rushing, looking for the kill. Puts him down onto RP. Does manage to find that elimination in the end, but it's going to be traded out. Foxy getting one. Elmimore shutting him down. Lockdown. Invested now. As they get themselves the spike plant. A 3v3. Buzz has a counter lockdown available once he can get into position.
Oh, he's going to use that.
He's got to final round. Use it if you got it.
And then they'll be discouraged to hold these angles. How many spots do you have? Elmimore, I don't even know if you can peek out to take him down as they push in.
Have a smoke available. The aftershock to try to flush his Sparrow out. Stacks. He does just that. Finds the kill. Nano Swarm's now burned. They get themselves in onto the spike, the gravity well. Takes them off the defuse. Stacks out into the open. Now going to be vulnerable. Flash through. Swings down.
Whoa.
Finds one. Can't quite get that transition, but the defuse can be held. And Mako will just finish it. Elmimore gets a 4K, but it's not the round win. So we end up at a 6-6 score line. Perfectly evened up.
So close. But such an incredible exchange from both teams. Again, just talking about it, RRQ plays with the pacing of things. They start to rush back into A. Definitely surprising some players from DRX's side. But at the same time, as soon as the spike goes down, you were talking about it, those lockdowns became so important for DRX in this retake. 6-6 though.
I mean, this is not a scoreline you see often at all on Haven. And in fact, I mean, if you take a look back, they haven't had a 6-6 half start on Haven since they played against Team Secret at the Daejeon Invitational, so an off-season event. Everything since then, 13-8, you know, a 8-4 versus Talon, 11-1 versus BBL, 9-3 to C9, 7-5 to Global, and then 11-1 to Gen G. So this is the most that they've been pushed on Haven in a good long while.
Certainly is challenging. I think RRQ are showing us that they have some things prepared. They have some ideas in mind. And it's especially with these mid-round pivots that are really staying in my head. I mean, it's kind of like that Friends episode with Ross, huh? Pivot!
Sure, pivot. Trying to move the couch in. But I will say, the caveat to everything I just said is that most of those maps, they start on the attacking side.
That's right.
And they do have a slightly higher win percentage on attack compared to their defense, 65 compared to 60. So RRQ looking very well geared here to deal and contend with DRX on their own attack. The question is, do they have that same preparation for the defense? Can they shut this down? If they can, they are in a fantastic spot to potentially steal away an old-time great map for DRX.
Potentially. Maybe we do take a look at statistics from RRQ. Defending side on Haven, so far in Pacific at least, they've done pretty well. 24 round wins over 12. It is not impossible. It all starts with this one round to find that momentum that they need to carry them forward. But then again, I mean, this is what we're talking about. Haven is such a different map. We've got 3 sites. You could be the ones to pivot and rotate around on your attacking half, but DRX could do the same thing. We know how perfect Valorant, how DRX plays perfect Valorant. I don't know if RQ plays that same way on defense.
Sparrow reading the lineup, knows exactly where that Nano Swarm is going to go. Double clear is close, Foxy going to be diving in deep. So far the pressure coming out of Swords not found. RB delaying for a bit, but they should know that there's still going to be somebody potentially in this spot. Foxy Knight, however, able to find first blood, Buzz going to be taken down. Gun dart sent through. RB looking to set up that crossfire. Foxy going to be good for a third before he's finally taken out of the fight, but with Sparrow at 48, it's going to prove to be a very challenging retake. RB on the jiggle peak, puts him down to 33. Zach's swinging here alongside him. Darts at the ready for the lineup. Push out again from Sparrow, just looking to challenge, looking to keep him contained. They're going to go for the double push now, but RB's able to stabilize it. Finds one, can't quite get the second. But with 7 HP. And the delay tactics coming through. Seems like a nigh impossible task, and it is. DRX will go ahead and take away another pistol round win.
That's the key word, delay tactics. Again, tactical, perfect Valorant. And that's how DRX plays it. Instantly start things off, they already have the site. And I think Sparrow was the only one who could have done something. I mean, it's covered up by the Nebula, but at the same time, it's just so smart for DRX to send Foxy, as well as a couple more utilities, just to make them feel uncomfortable on the side itself. Even once the retake comes in, DRX were already positioned up by short and long, just to delay, just keep delaying.
Opens now in. RRQ. It's a single sheriff there from Elmi Moore, which you don't mind seeing at all if you've been paying attention to RRQ. You know how dangerous this guy can be with this weapon. See him pushing forward. Mako reading this push coming out of a long. Buzz now looking to swoop in and get the punish before they can make it out to safety. Has to clear too many angles so they don't get too much extra damage in.
You can hear the footsteps as well. Here comes the collapse.
EJ dead. Buzz, a quick shot on the corner turn. Finishes off Sparrow.
I just want to see how flawless this round's going to be.
I mean, yeah. What are you going to do? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Flip's having to explosion. And DRX will go ahead and close out the anti-eco round in what would have been flawless fashion.
Still, I mean, apart from some antics or acrobatics, again, classic Valorant. DRX just goes in, takes the site, and RRQ couldn't really rotate quick enough, and they were never sure if DRX leaves someone on the lurk. Back in the next round, DRX is able to buy up slightly. RRQ with the full buys instead. They're trying to go on the offensive now.
We have this Guardian from Ellie Moore. Sat in the garage for the time being. Shame. Again, just trying to pressure here in the sewer. Ooh. Spotting RB, but just can't quite get those shots through.
Difficult, and at the same time, setting ourselves up. DRX anticipating a bit of a push. Flips is trapped into the corner.
Mako trying to fake the TP out. Flips still just sat here.
No peeks. No peeks.
DRX are perfectly aware of his position. I'm kind of surprised that we don't see them go for the aftershock. Instead, it's going to be the push, and Mako with the Spectre will win it out as Flips was desperately trying to drag his crosshair down. Foxy now entering. Dart goes across. The stun hits. Sparrow still somewhat dazed, pushes out, gets the headshot in.
Last
Stinger
player
sprays,
standing.
cannot control it. Stacks into falling. EJ with 2. Spike on the floor. RB noted, and EJ, while still hovering, will find himself a 3rd kill with the classic. Only 2 weapons lost here from the side of RRQ. DRX can't convert that bonus into a win.
Not too shabby. This is what you expect from the bonus round.
Should I play some
RRQ played it to perfection at the same time. I mean, you have these 2 players, EJ, as well as I believe it was, is it Elmore? 2 players on the side itself. You plant your foot firmly down and just make sure, no, it's Xfero, excuse me. You make sure that you're not going to be revealed. You're not going to be pressured by whatever DRX throws at you. I was kind of surprised by how Mako was able to easily walk up long, take flips down. But as soon as they made it their way onto side, it's that information that RRQ gains. They know how to react off of it and just to play around the box on the side itself. 8-7 now. And this is a timeout off of a win. We want to maintain this one lead, this one round that we've won.
Yeah. Let's see. VWalk's strategy going into the next one is
make the right plays, given the positions that they have. The pieces of utility that they throw against DRX at times also helps them chain some wins together.
Still wait for the barriers to drop. DRX again looking to show some early pressure over towards A, while RB will just send a shock over to B. Clear out some of that KJ util. But I think he might have missed.
A little bit careful still. Now DRX exploring garage side. A star instantly placed. Might be able to out a bit of information or set up for some kind of a retake. It does look like RRQ just completely gives them the sight.
Oh, Hunter's Fury.
Oh.
Stacks getting caught by the first blast.
One more boom.
3rd one, not going to get that connection though. And tags Buzz and Stacks both down to 70. Now it's going to be the full 5v5 retake. No real ults to speak of on either side.
It's already spent. Just gonna come into the retake. We need that utility to support this.
Foxy getting pinged. Mako blind the backside. Xfero able to find the kill. Now Buzz going to be taken down as well as Elmimore entries, finds 2 for his trouble. Suddenly, just Stacks and RB left standing. The shock dart's flying through. Spam will get 2.
Take flight.
But there's still so much more to work with. Dark across the side, Stacks ending up falling, and so does RB. The timeout works a treat. RRQ will get the defuse, and they will tie us up at 8-8.
Good call from Coach Ewok, if anything. And it just so happens that they coordinated that retake perfectly. You know, we talked about it, we saw and we heard those footsteps as they approached the C site. We might have lost some players in the process, but completely evacuating it allowed them to set up for this, where they push out of garage, push out from defender spawn at the same time, just completely catching DRX off guard. You might have 2 players remaining on towards the backside of C long, but Stacks unable to deal against 2 players rushing him down.
Does not have that rolling thunder, but that to be a fantastic start. Maybe a really swift and early plan for them to want to commit that here into the thrifty round. Foxy 9 just going to be landing up on top of Foxy in the B site. Nanoswarms go out. Stack's going to be slowed up for the time being, but they have control of the sites. The plant will come through all the same. Aftershock to try to clear, but the planted left side rather than right. Oh, the push. Flipshider just still lurking. RB completely caught unawares.
A little exploration mission, but still onto the site itself. Look at how DRX comes back around on this.
I mean, they're out of range, so they might not know that this flank is going to be coming through, and so far, no one is really turning to read this. Foxy continuing to inch forward, but he completely beefs it! Has to swap over to the short. He still would be good for 1, but that should have been so much more. Flipshider getting that elimination. Now suddenly it Stacks, and the Rolling Thunder is in fact committed. This has cost DRX so much more than they may have anticipated.
My ultimate is ready.
As RRQ will take the lead now 9-8.
Things are heating up, Achilleos. How on earth did that happen? Just completely giving them the sight. It's the right call at times, but at the same moment, Foxy 9 trying to wrap around, being that close with the Blade Storm, An uncharacteristic miss. And RRQ with the guns just had their way with the retake.
Yeah.
On to the next round, and we get to buy up again. RB has the Hunter here, but Elmimore has a lockdown.
Again, weapons back in their hands.
Blocking sight. Blocking sight.
Again, looking like a fairly fast hit. Elmimore spotting this one will be noted. Buzz trying to spray him down, but a little bit of damage in. That's about it. Otherwise, Elmimore life intact. Go ahead and get set up for the lockdown in garage.
Initiated.
Does so. RB.
Nowhere to run.
And Spawn will now go ahead. Open up with this Hunter's Fury.
Oh,
Destruction still not coming through yet. Paranoia across. Now, lockdown does get destroyed. Mako found those. He tries to go for a really short hop TP, and Stack's going to be taken down, so RB now needs to contend with Flipstrider on that flank. The flash goes across. He's completely blinded. Flipstrider eventually finds the kill. Foxy9 going to be taken out, and suddenly it's all on Buzz. Do they read his position?
They don't know.
So far the answer is no, but now they know exactly where he's at. Gets the headshot, turns from the flash, but Flipstrider finishes him off. The third kill comes through to defuses in, and RRQ now lead by 2.
It's not just a lead as well. It's 4 rounds in a row, Achilleos. They've won it.
Me, they'll know what.
First team to reach double digits. And just maybe dampening DRX's economy a little bit more. Coming back into these rounds, these retakes. I mean, you have DRX just rushing in, pushing them off. But somehow, RRQ are actually finding the coordination it takes just to wrap them around. I mean, Buzz also kind of tries to go for an interesting approach of making a big old flank. He does turn into a one-on-one, but the numbers just do not favor him in that moment.
No, they do not. It was a good effort by him.
Hermes not happy.
Yeah, Flipstrider with the better flank in the end of it all, breaking open that C-long position and then able to finish the job. And Termi will, in fact, use the first timeout for DRX. You know, oftentimes we do see Termi, he'll trust in the team to be able to course correct themselves. He knows how much experience they have on stages larger than this one. But once it starts getting away from them like this, and RRQ are very closely approaching, stealing the map away, that's when Termi decides to intervene because it hasn't been working out. It's a new version of the wave. You slap each other down a line.
We have fun crowds here in Korea. But still, I think it's RRQ actually doing such a good job. Now they have the coordination just to retake, the coordination to defend at times. If DRX wants to force the site take, let's just let them have it. So far it's been working on Treat.
Okay.
Spike down.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to see that POV. I'm gonna have to see this man's POV!
Flawless.
As the 2 veterans on RRQ deliver such a swift victory in the round. Run it back. What else? I mean,
Let's see the replay. It's just
hot damn.
hot damn indeed. It was a bit of a half buy coming in from DRX.
He just
trying to
rushes.
rush in.
He just rushes and kills 3 people. And in the meantime, Xfero catches Foxy going into the smoke, finds Mako within it already. It's a flawless round. The economy built up. RRQ, they are good to go to the very end here.
Oh, now it's C-Rush.
Yep, they're looking for it once more. The dash forward. QGE situated. Mako should be reading this, but he does not. QGE manages to find 2 kills before finally falling. Flipstrider with the 3rd. Buzz again alive. Finds the kill. The Hunter's Fury online for Xfero in case the lockdown comes through.
Spike
First will be
planted.
droning from the defending side. The
Oh.
operator. EJ swinging on the corner. RB not reading it whatsoever. And once again, it's Buzz on his lonesome, and he's been identified. The ping's coming down. Xfero looking to pressure him out. Buzz not sure which way to look. And RRQ are now just 1 round away from taking DRX's map pick of Haven for the first time in 2023.
This is their map pick! Achilleos! What is happening here?
It's been old faithful for DRX since time memoriam, since Valorant effectively came out, since DRX and Vision Strikers came onto the scene in Korea. This has been such a strong one for them, but RRQ, it seems, have meticulously studied them, and right now, frankly, are out-aiming them, outgunning them at every twist and turn.
especially on these retakes.
And it's
even
a
with a side hit.
back-to-back. I think
That's a
it's
back-to-back
just about a
timeout.
back-to-back. I mean, he calls it once in front of the Thrifty, the attempt at the eco, I should say. It doesn't work out. They go into the buy round. It doesn't work out. This is as close to a back-to-back timeout as I've ever seen from DRX. Only 2 rounds separated.
Something is happening. How? That's not the classic DRX take that we used to see. I mean, we did have that cloud burst. We did have Mako TPing out towards the back of the top of the platform, but when you have RRQ players just positioned on there like that, you would expect DRX to be able to suss them out. Somehow, they went left unchecked. Mako turned but couldn't find the frag. RRQ actually took them down instead. At the same time, onto that Thrifty, it was just a big old rush, somewhat of a default push, a default A take for DRX, and RRQ read that to perfection. 1 point, 1 round away from closing this map out.
And the ults are fairly evened up, but I think looking at it, you absolutely favor RRQ in this position. They have the Rolling Thunder, they have the Hunter's Fury to counteract the lockdown from Buzz. DRX is gonna have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at this round if they want a hope of taking this into overtime.
Oh my gosh, for the first time, they're actually holding this default, just waiting for a push from RRQ. Now slowly trying to find bits of utility, find little gaps in RRQ's defenses, but RRQ are not moving at all. They know they have the rounds. They know they have the numbers.
Thrown up close, but a little bit delayed. Doesn't get the tag onto EJ, who will then clear it out and says, yeah, I've got an operator. I wouldn't recommend pushing me.
They're definitely not going to explore A anymore after this. We're just going to go for that B hit. Only Mako as well as Foxy up on top.
Drop down should be heard. Only more identifying that somebody's going to be in backside.
Rolling
Rolling
Thunder.
cuts across, gets the stun. The shorty is drawn out, but doesn't get that much damage through. Spike as well, not planted, not even on the side for the moment. TP over to see Long from Mako. He was out in the open, actually. Push on the corner. Mako, that counter swing does find flip shot, and now 2GE gonna be taken down. A 3v4. It wasn't Mako. 86 HP between the two of them. Now Stacks joining them. The shock dart tagging him to 50. Tries to make it into the cubby fast enough, but it's not gonna happen.
Oh my
RP
god!
taken down. Elmimore pulling it off. Now just 2 versus 3 healthy members.
Push in.
Nanoswarm buys some time. The push comes in. A little delay there from McSparrow. Elmimore, however, finding a third.
Uh-oh.
They're holding forward, and Elmimore holds the angle, gets the 4th kill, and I cannot believe it. RRQ are kicking off our 2nd series of the evening with a map victory over DRX on DRX's pick of Haven. Their first loss on this map since they suffered the loss to Optic all the way back in Champions. I'm at a loss for words, but good lord, what a performance from this squad.
We have never, ever seen this before. DRX, the team that plays classic, perfect Valorant every time and again, suddenly dazed by RRQ. We talked about that first half. It ends in a 6-6. But after the second half, all of a sudden, RRQ chain rounds together in the defenses, in the retakes. You would have thought in that final round, DRX playing the macro game on top of macro games. They started with a B hit, they rotated over onto C. They managed to find bits of success, but down to the final bits. Up by C long, they weren't able to find the shots, Achilles.
No, they were not. Things very off here from DRX. Shots that they normally are good for. Players that are normally clutch, unable to deliver in those regards. But RRQ firing on all cylinders, handing DRX their 2nd map loss in Pacific. It has been so clean for them up until these last 2 weeks, losing 1 in a close battle on Fracture versus Gen G. And now to RRQ, who continue to punch up and in dominant fashion, 13-8. What a statement from this squad, comprised of 2 vets and 3 relative rookies.
Man, it's just the Korean caster signs. But still, I mean, I don't know, man. Today we're in the upside down.
And for whatever reason, you seem to be trending in the right direction here, Quack. You threw 2 Hail Marys, and right now, it's looking very possible. Now, though, Split will be coming up. This is still an interesting one. You know, how much work has RRQ put into this split? We've only seen it once from them, the 13-7 victory over Team Secret. Whereas on the other side, DRX, they've been showing it to us quite a bit. At all time, this is one of, if not their most dominant map picks that we have ever seen from them. 14-5 on Split. So obviously some changes. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know either. We've seen their double controller. We know Mako to be really strong on it, but at the same time, Split was also the map where they were kind of pushed by Global.
It was. Well, does lightning strike twice in the same studio? Do we have our top 2 teams suffering losses, the teams that have been hovering around the bottom, that have been struggling to find wins? We're going to find out. First, we're going to go to a quick little break. The desk will break down all of the action here because there's plenty to talk about from that first map, and then we will get into Split. So don't go anywhere because obviously you don't want to miss it. Second stacks and Mako as well getting it.
Eating a shock dart.
And
30 seconds left.
will avoid a flawless. Taken out, 2 kills going to be traded back. Start out. Leads the trunk to make closer. Turn for them. Taken out as well. Stacks and Fury, however, is available. But push around the back. Start in the meantime. Now going to be taken out. Mako back. Finds the second. Easily set up. Instead it's going to be X-Barrel breaking things open. Now the spike in. Oh, the speak up, but looks got to get taken out. Mako. Look, try to. Mako. Foxy 9. Weapon retrieved again. Off in hand. Swing hands are going to go for the double push now. And RB's coming through. Seems like a nice DJ 10. Push. Foxy continuing to inch forward, but he completely beefs it. Having that elimination. Now suddenly it's stacked. So far the answer is no, but now they know exactly where he's at. Gets the head to that POV. I'm going to have to see this man's POV. Situated. Mako should be reading this, but he does not.
Wow, guy, wow.
So easy. Let's go. Wait, you're making him look bad. Yeah, I'm making him look bad. Let's go. 8 already? 9? 10? Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Well. You're gonna make us look bad. Wait, you need to have an expression on your face. Oi, 20 guys. 20? Woo! No!
You're watching VCT Pacific. Dang! You know, I might have been expecting a 2-1, but I did not think that win for RRQ was going to come from Haven.
That is such a crazy game that we just saw there. RRQ was so in control. We saw the back and forth early on, and whenever you have those moments at the start, you think, okay, well, this is great, but, you know, we're very early in the whole development of this first map. But as it progressed, RRQ got further and further ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, I mean, we like to say stats don't tell the entire story, but here it kind of does, right? DRX still having more first kills. RRQ still able to overcome that with the macro play, right? Being able to really set up for their win conditions. And then you look at the attacking halves, the post plants. RRQ winning 6 out of 8 plants. DRX only able to secure 2 out of 7. And, you know, sometimes those plants, obviously, they start by not being in a great position in terms of number advantage, but RRQ just came mega prepared against DRX's Haven today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know what? DRX, as Quack pointed out, has gotten pushed by Global Esports on this map before, but I mean, RRQ took for the win, and Xfaro and Elmi Moore, I think were, I mean, a huge part of that win.
It was incredible. Xfaro doing some great infiltrations early on in the first couple of rounds there, really getting deep in enemy territory. Great lurks. And overall, it just felt like RRQ was so in sync. It's very exciting to see this. Let's not forget the DRX had basically gone untouched up until this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is their second map drop at this point in time, and by, you know, the first Southeast Asian team to do so. I'm pretty excited. Today's a pretty exciting day for Southeast Asia.
Oh, absolutely. And the fashion RRQ does it in Haven was very convincing. I mean, in the beginning, they were kind of trading back and forth, and even that, a lot of fans were like, okay, this is a good showing. And then they started to just run away with it on defense on Haven. That's a very promising sign.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very excited. I'm very excited for all of this. Now, DRX, we were talking about this. You know, their seaside defense was fairly strong initially.
Yeah, they had some good adjustments, right? I mean, RRQ, they continue to target that C site, you know, partially because of composition and whatnot. But let's take a look at round 9. We're going to play it out first, just kind of see the action, and then we'll take a closer look at the minimap. But DRX, this is a round that DRX ends up holding as RRQ continues to try to break the site open. This is how they've gotten a lot of their round wins, and it comes down to that kill from Foxy9. Now, when we go back, as we let the action play out, you'll see it kind of wrap up. Stack's able to take a better position. He's just buying time for Mako to come through. Mako had just sent out his paranoia as well. And then when we play it back from the minimap, I'll break it down just a bit ahead. But when we go to the minimap, I want everyone to focus on garage side, you know, in that link from Foxy9. So Foxy9 currently peeking out garage with the operator. Buzz is trying to get back into sight to just hold on to back sight, because that's how you make the retake happen. Now, you don't have an Astra, so it's a little tough, but Foxy9 dashes in to support him, so he's able to trade. He eventually gets taken down by the Hunter's Fury, but by that point, Stax is now here, and the smoke has finally come in for a moment. And then Omen uses the paranoia again to make sure Stax can stay alive, buying them time to continue to fill back sight of C and eventually defend it, you know, away from RRQ. So while a bit of a desperation move, also DRX just understanding, okay, this is a weakness our composition has, not having that Astra really able to maneuver around the site on her own. And Foxy9 saying, well, I'll jump in with the operator, I'll trade for Buzz so we can buy a little bit more time.
That's right. And, you know, DRX is still a very good team, but I think this is the point where we started to see things turn around. DRX having really good plays, but then RRQ controls the situation and puts it back in their favor.
In my mind, that this moment we're coming up to here, this is kind of when the wheels fell off the bus. So this was a round where it was a cool play to set up on B. Obviously, they were starved weapon-wise, and they were going to basically hang out in the garden and then set up a flank up through garage. And so the idea is that, you know, there's concern about trying to make sure you can obfuscate the exterior point of B, try to get the defuse set up. And so we see Foxy9 get to slip in here. And this was a little cocky, not going for the kill right away and then whipping everything. And that's when things started to completely fall apart. From there, they were able to then push out, get control of mid, come back in, into B, get that defuse. I think Head, DRX managed to take that in what I thought was a very cool play. Maybe we would have had a different result, but RRQ's game sense overall was very, very good. They were able to shut that down, move on, and here we are.
Yeah.
RRQ 1-0.
Yeah, I want to talk even more about that. RRQ definitely studied hard. They didn't treat this as a throwaway match, clearly. Like, they're
No.
taking this match against DRX very seriously, and they're controlling DRX's rotation patterns.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the heat map, right? And you can see this heavy focus from RRQ over on C site. A lot of the kills they got on A site was actually on defense because DRX tries to target in the beginning of that half. But RRQ, both their attack and defense, so focused on C site. On attack, they just try to get the rounds they can. They condition DRX to really fight them for that site. But then when they're on defense, once they have EJ on the operator, they're constantly forcing DRX to go back over to C, where RRQ knows they have a better preparation about that backside hold with the Astra. And you can see it on the heat map as well. Just very well played from RRQ. Really solid prep.
Yep. So I think generally just an all-around excellent performance from RRQ. And this could be the day that Southeast Asia topples the Korean Giants, like both of them. I mean, it's already happened in the last matchup earlier today. The next map is RRQ's pick, which is Split.
Yes.
How do we think that's going to go? We don't know now. Now
I mean,
we're like,
well,
I don't know.
Can I throw something out here? I think that Foxy9 needs to tighten up his play a little bit. He had a couple sloppy moments. You know, seriously, RRQ is no joke. But Foxy seemed to be playing the worst out of all the weeks that we've seen of him so far. And so I hope he can clean that up a little bit, because if Foxy drops off right at the start, it's kind of hard to make anything else work.
Yeah, that's right. He's gotten his kills, but the impacts, like the really critical moments, he doesn't win those duels.
And it's kind of hard to read this. I mean, this is something that we would have to go back and watch the VODs, you know, step by step and look at the stats as well. Because here's the thing is that Foxy9 oftentimes getting that first kill or getting some of the early kills. But then we looked at the overall scoreline, right? It's RRQ still able to win more rounds despite not getting as many first kills. So what does that mean? That means the way they're setting up their lurks, the way they're setting up their retakes, was one step ahead. And is that entirely on Foxy9? Maybe not. However, like that round we just saw where they could have gotten the Thrifty, if Foxy9 was a bit tighter, he could have been the hero instead of perhaps being the scapegoat here in some sense. I mean, at the same time, Buzz also not getting as many kills as we usually see him do. So there's something going on with DRX here. You know, is it just that they were trying to purely play off of fundamentals and they're starting to miss a couple beats? Or has RRQ really studied that much more? Maybe it's a mix of both.
Yeah. I mean, whatever it is, they're giving us a darn good show, and I'm sure DRX is sweating.
Well, this has got to be kind of a weird wake-up call. You know, RRQ, they've been a very interesting story in that they were, I think, out of all the teams that we looked at, we kind of presumed they were the worst. I know I did. I know some other people here that have been casting or at the desk that thought the same. And then they've started to come back, and DRX is always an easy call for everybody because they have played so well, and they have a real record and a real history of doing so. But, you know, going back to that moment I had at dinner with RRQ, they really seemed, well, they told me they seemed to be very, very comfortable. By the way, switch in and out here.
Yep, Emin coming in, probably playing the Sky, right? They've done this before on Split, so Emin getting a chance to shine. I know, I forget if it was last week or the week before, you know, I was talking to RRQ, I was just like, all right, hey, I mean, if there's a player that you want us to kind of hype up for you, if the moment allows, who would it be? And they're like, well, Emin's, you know, going to be playing on a certain map, so like cheer on for him. Let's try to get him some moments on air. We'll see if he can make it for himself here on Split.
So our lineup here looks like we are not going to have any Jet over here.
Yeah, EJ just going with that raise.
Yeah.
Right? Just to kind of go to the same composition they've always had. Now, Elmimore, he was playing a lot more kind of conservative and safer, I should say, more patient over on Haven. But now with the Cypher, the role for him is to go out and get those individual duels, create those mind games on his own. Curious to see how that works. Meanwhile, DRX going for that tried and true Astra Viper combo and double duelist. So Buzz coming out on the raise to support Foxy9. Okay, curious to see if Buzz, if he's still got it in him to be that duelist again.
Yeah, very curious with the double duelists. I think it's gonna be this next game is gonna be pretty awesome.
What if we have a 2-0 here? What if this is just the Bizarro world? Like we're in the wrong timeline or something like that. Like, wait a minit. GE 2-0, 2-0s, and then it's RRQ?
Dude, I love this timeline. If that's the timeline, I'm so glad that this is our timeline. Because to be honest, both of those teams can afford a loss. I want to see the Southeast Asian teams who needed some time to adjust to Korea and their new teams to build up to this moment and go into playoffs looking strong. And every single one have been getting stronger and stronger, besides that one little slip up with Team 1. So I'm glad it's playing out this way.
And let's not forget, too, DRX is a very proud team. They're going to be hungry to try to take this. They want to come back and dominate and crush through. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for RRQ. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what happens in this next game on Split. Kilios and Quack, over to you.
Alrighty, well, here we go. RRQ looking to do and replicate what Global was able to do against Gen G just earlier today. The stage is set for it. They just need to close out one more map. They have their pick of Split coming up now, and we're seeing a very different look from DRX here, Quack.
Very, very different. I mean, just straight off, like, let's just rip that Band-Aid off, right? We'll dive right into the Asia composition. What is this double duelist that we're seeing? Buzz on Raze, Foxy on the Jet.
I mean, this is, obviously close to what we've seen from them. There's the fan cheer again, trying to rally DRX back into this. This is close to what we've seen from them for the last 4 times that they've played this map, but we always saw Buzz being the one bringing out the KO, Foxy playing Raze. Instead, they're opting to go for double duelist yet again, which is what we saw from them versus Gen G on Fracture, that map that they lost. It felt like the disjointedness of the double duelist wasn't great. Granted, that was also, RB playing the Neon, so it's a little bit different. But I'm curious to see how drilled this looks now. The RX are going to be starting off here on the defending side. Close contact as the Trailblazer goes in. Foxy trying to play off of it, but Elmi Moore swings off the stun and finds the first blood.
I mean, they picked this for a reason. They picked this map. They have this composition, but right off the rip, it already is RRQ finding that first pick, and now slowly adjusting, delivering the spike back towards mid. And we've seen this look from RRQ already.
Only being watched right now mid by Buzz. He's rotating back over towards the male side of things. Shop camera going to be cleared as Mako trying to swing out.
Wow.
A little bit of damage down to the EJ. Otherwise, Emin coming up with a kill. Stacks now trying to go on the flank, get in behind them, cut them off. Elmi Moore still hovering nearby. Hasn't dropped down until just now. Starts working his way back, just keeping things nice and quiet. Paint shells in the meantime do come through. A little delay. Stacks, the timing. He's going to start rushing. It's being watched. That's going to be the spike down.
Spike down, mid.
Big pickup as well. Now Stacks trying to get a little bit more, but the man comes straight back in. They pick the spike back up and back to A.
And
30
look
seconds
at
left.
Elmi Moore's position now. Gets himself up here in heaven. There's the rope. RB, a great reaction. Finds the kill. Buzz dropping down into the vent. Also going to be able to pick one up, so that does bring us now into a 2v2 with EJ down to 6 HP, but the spike is planted all the same.
Look at his position, though. This is quite the one and done, but wow. A sudden peek and RB takes him out.
It's damage on both. With this frenzy, with this tuck position just below heaven, Sparrow certainly could still pull this one out. It's a double approach now through screens. No util to really try to flush him out of this spot. The paint shells were already burned. Swing out. Okay, Buzz finds the timing, catches him, and DRX will be able to salvage yet another pistol round. 3-0 in that regard.
Impressive wiring.
Not too shabby. I mean, it's an interesting approach from RRQ again. Just going in for tiny little duels, tiny little fights as a 3-man squad. You love to see this this way that they operate. Slowly going off ramp, and then holding up by rope, and then back to mailroom. But in all of this, it's a little bit slow. There's a lot of time in between. Stacks comes up from behind. At the same time, you have Buzz, who's a little bit riled up from the previous map, and now he's going in for it. Finding that 2-on-1 scenario, DRX. Now the judge comes out, and Buzz, I don't know, we're going to see some blast packs.
Get off the rip, try to clear any early pressure into garage. It's just going to be more pickup here for Emin, but quite a bit of damage pushed out. He can go ahead and heal Flip, try to back up to full, but he's stuck at 34. Foxy spotting. Yeah, that shot comes your way. You know that Elmi Moore is behind the trigger. It breaks the line of sight.
Hold it up by that area. Now Mako trying to delay. Get further information over by mid. RQ slowly make their way up.
Oh boy.
Love
Push
the judge
begins.
moments.
They're wary though. They're stopped up, waiting in mail. Slow creep up, ready to come through. Fault line at the ready. There's one, there's two. He's cutting them in half. Spike does get retrieved. They need to further clear them out. Now they have to drop down into the vents and see if they can find any kills here.
Here are those robes. Mako goes in for the peek.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, and into the meat grinder they go. A flawless round here in the follow-up to a very close pistol. DRX, they get the ball rolling with a 2-0 start, but this is what we saw on Haven, and then it was RRQ who were able to steal some momentum away in the bonus round. So let's see if that happens once more now that they get some rifles in their hands.
I mean, I don't want to count DRX out just yet. It was a very coordinated RRQ towards the end of that Haven map, but still, on towards split, and this is a whole different ball game. You have the judge, and it's a very, very viable tool, especially up by a lot of these positions. Outside of garage, up by mid, especially up by mailroom, like you just saw, and especially up on ramp as well. Look at how Mako plays around this rope position. He loves to do this.
Yep. Waits it out. Boombot not going to get a spot. Buzz as well, just tucking out onto the rafters to try to avoid it. Creep up. And Trailblazer cleared, still showing at least presence of 2 members.
If RRQ has done their homework, they should know, yep, that Marco is up around that spot, and that's why they're trying to wallbang it. Even then, up by the ropes, and that's not really a spot that you can reach unless you have utility.
Oh, okay, decent timing, but EJ widely just tickled by that Spectre.
Trying to bait some rotations over, but DRX aren't really moving. We saw a lot of exchanges up by this one ramp area.
Here.
They're starting to pivot a little bit.
Well, pivoting back to B. If they can actually take RB down, I think then they would have the site. Foxy's still up by Heaven, though.
Okay, Trailblazer comes out. He's going to use the gravity well instantly just to try to stop that dog from getting in.
30 seconds.
Spotted. Ooh. Oh, just the spray into that Nebula. Kill comes through, but Foxy able to find one. So Sparrow taken down.
Elmimore.
Paint shells the delay. They're still not into the site yet, but as you say, Elmimore approaching, getting himself moved up here into Heaven. And Stacks misses the time they try to take him down, and Mako can't really reply. He's got that judge at range. The site cleared out. Stacks now the last man standing, tries to go for the drop shot, but EJ avoided the flash, gets the kill, and RRQ again on the board here in the 3rd round.
It's against those pivots that work out so darn well. That said, it only is the 3rd round. Trying to bait out those rotations. DRX didn't really have the range they were looking for with those Spectres, but still, it's that bit of a lurk from Elmimore. We've seen this guy so much. He was highlighted as the key player in the pre-match analysis, and he is stepping up to the plate.
Once more now. Operator and rifles on the opposite side. This would be a major turning point here for RRQ if they could get the round win.
What?
Oh, he's right up close. I don't think they quite realize this. But now with Boombot going through, should identify that somebody's gotten through defense. It needs to be noted.
Okay. Really have to think about this as a bit of a strategy game because we're moving around a lot of different pieces, and we've just sent one down up by ropes. We know that Mako's no longer here, and this is what RRQ was looking for. If they can actually pinch Buzz, they might be able to take down the A site. Stacks behind elbow, though.
There's the jiggle out.
On the side as well.
We'll have seen Elmimore advancing forward, so the call comes in from Buzz, but Elmimore stops the strafe, gets the headshot. He's right back on the move. Stacks now dead in the backside as the neural theft goes across. Elmimore already building up another ult charge towards the next one. And with, I mean, 3 members alive, the operator, yeah, the call comes in, make the save. DRX going to be just perfectly allowing RRQ to flawlessly pick up this tied score line.
I just can't believe it. It's only the early game still, but the way that RRQ are approaching all of this, see so much utility being spent towards the middle. As soon as the barrier's dropped, EJ up close to Mako. And it just sends those signs of confusion to DRX. DRX trying to read it. They know it's not everything is as it seems, but they can't quite tell exactly what's about to happen. I think that's why Buzz kind of caught lacking, especially up by ramp. It's this little pincer maneuver up by rope as well as ramp from the RRQ squad, and then taking down Stacks. Works a treat, but moving on to the next round, we still have those 3 weapons that DRX saved up.
Still, though, not quite as pretty of a buy. 2 Bulldogs.
Right.
Operator not even given the opportunity to find any sort of value in that last round, just never going near it. See if they fall into the trap this time, as there is a decently heavy stack here.
Yeah,
3
DRX
players.
are switching up formation. Foxy up by mid could deny some kind of aggression.
Pushing out. Here's the flashback entry, and oh boy, Foxy almost jumps right into EJ's lap, but Mako, with a covering fire, is able to find that pick.
So far, the key to RRQ's success is those microaggressions. This time around, DRX wins the first fight.
Mako just continuing to try to hold things down. Drop, pop flash, finding nothing. Buzz as well, spraying out. Good amount of damage going across, and Buzz probably going to be surprised to find that he gets himself a second kill in that position. Pharaoh pushing up, does find it, but this time Buzz a bit more snappier as far as the aim is concerned. Catches Pharaoh in the head. Now Elmi Moore, the last man standing. Spike control, however, firmly in the grasp of DRX.
He has been a strong lurker, but what can you do on your own?
At this point, I mean, you've got money. Take as many guns out of the hands of DRX as you possibly can if you're Elmi Moore. Any kill is going to be value.
He's going to take the shortest route, and that's going to be straight into the arms of Stacks.
And there's the drop, and there's the spray. Buzz with a 4K in the round to get DRX back ahead. 3-2, though, still very close, and still some economy to work through if they want to be able to streak ahead on this defending side. RRQ already, though, going to be calling the timeouts. And I do enjoy this proactivity here from Ewok.
Just trying to catch things they are early. We've already seen bits of success from RRQ. Let's see how we can push those ideas even further. So far, we know that RRQ, if mid is left unchecked, they can use it to sneak behind DRX through ropes, maybe a little bit of aggression towards mailroom. That can work. Apart from that, also, just little bits of duels towards ramp, towards A. They might be able to take some players down. At even times, we see Elmi Moore actually setting the camera up as a trap. If someone fires a shot, he gets that information about where someone could be. On to the next bit now. Question is, do you approach mid again? Or do you try to go for a rush this time? We know that DRX has an operator. That's a problem that we need to solve.
Well, they are fortunate to be able to hold on to it here for the last 2 rounds. Just continuing to stack up a decent amount of money there on the side of Foxy 9 at the very least. But still hasn't been the most involved in the kills. So Mako helping to bail him out in that last one. It's very much been, as far as DRX is concerned, the Buzz show.
Right now it is, especially as Raze on this map, very,
They're going to garage
very
rush.
effective.
Okay, not the full entry. Doesn't get himself on the box. Just to look to catch anybody unawares.
A little bit curious about that gravity. Well, nobody's there to check, so just to confirm that RB is up by B. I'm gonna head back towards the A site mid. Maybe a bit of lurk. Maybe a lurk from Flips.
I've got your trail.
We'll do the lane for now, but it's there. Aftershock to clear angles as well as their flashes from trying to get entry onto the site that's not there. And Foxy 9 finds him, can be costly, but shot goes across and Seekers fly through. Flips out and out, very well aware of his position. Smoke dissipates and Foxy.
Pivot.
He is off on the shot. Try to takes him down. Mako now arriving at just 1. Has to exit. Does take a tag there from the Aftershock. At least crucially does find 1 kill. Now gets himself set up here in alley. Stacks looking to join. Shots across. Mako falling. Stacks taken down as well. Before the Cosmic Divide comes through. Now RB noted. Dealt with. And RRQ are set to tie us up again. Buzz at this point. I mean, money to play with, but no real reason to go for this one. You know that if you die to EJ to Elmi Moore, they're that much closer to being able to get this ult online, so he's just going to have to sit back and wait for the spike to go off. So we're once again going to be tied up.
As far away as possible from RRQ. That's where Buzz has to be. If we just break down these rounds again, I mean, these aren't fakes from RRQ. They're not. They actually try to approach bits of areas towards the site. Maybe at first towards A, a little bit towards mid. They left Flips on a bit of a lurk. And then just getting the information that, okay, this isn't really where we need to go or where we should go. Those Seekers were just a ruse. And then they rotate and pivot all the way back to the B site. I think Mako was starting to get a good grasp of it, a good read of it. He had the timing up by stairs just to take down one player. But after the Cosmic Divide comes in, RRQ, they take down this site, just like removing a block from this Jenga tower that is DRX.
A tower that with every piece pulled out, it's getting closer and closer to tumbling. 3-3 once again tied up, and obviously hasn't been quite as dominant. We've seen some nice attack side streaks on this map, but very much widely have been seeing the defender side have a stronger go of it. So the more attack side rounds they're able to get, the better things are going to be for them in the future. Especially considering how the attacks fell flat regularly on Haven for DRX. Trailblazer checking forward, blind spray through, and okay, RB with the covering fire is the one who gets that shot. Looked like Mako might have gotten the luckiest spray of his life, but not quite. Pop flash out, Buzz.
Wow.
The wall is up, it's working against him, and now the trap wire's right in front of him.
Oh, no.
Mako having this wall raised, stops Buzz from being able to get the catch there, but he can still catch them on the rotate. The spike now dropped in. Another trap, another blast pack. Looking to try to get the catch. The pop flash through. He's just spraying like a madman, and somehow he comes up with it. RB in the meantime catches Xpharaoh. And suddenly, Elmi Moore, they know exactly where he's at. He's trapped himself into the A site. And Mako is there on the lurk. Fantastic adjustment. And while it went from Mako baiting Saxon into dying and Buzz not being able to trading, Buzz was able to salvage it. But barely so with those 2 kills.
It still is a deep position that RRQ would not have been aware of. And that is, in fact, an advantage that DRX has. Sometimes, seemingly, Elmimore managed to sneak in, but at the same time, Buzz knowing to go wrapping around behind that. We're starting to see how DRX adapts to this play from RRQ by defending mid. We have these walls of smokes. And at the same time, Phantoms that really spray through. You're able to take down a couple of players from RRQ.
They read Mako's position this time. He's changing it up. Tucked in behind mid box, but okay, we'll go ahead and shift away.
Mako and RB.
Bite down. Foxy. Okay, this time does get the shot. Xpharaoh gone. And
there goes their smokes.
Yep. That single controller. All smokes now taken away from you. Spike will get scooped up here by Emin.
This is going to be a big problem for RRQ. The only way to take a site now is to go explosively. And off of that, you know the retake will be hunting you down. Elmimore is able to take one, but look at how Mako comes up.
Okay, yeah, a bit
so
whippy.
fast.
Throws out that neural depth to help the 3 remaining players here for the team. And Mako just skeet shooting, takes out EJ midair. Nicely executed. Mako now just staying tucked away. Put some damage down on the flip shutter, but they're still managing to break through. Suddenly we're into a 2v2. Rolling Thunder goes across. That's going to hit Foxy9. Will slow him up in the push. Getting ready to come in. He senses that he might be on that right side. Still stunned up. Now backs away. Plays to the ready. The heels go across. Flip shutter up to 80. The Trailblazer gets the stun. RB's here to cover.
Need to watch these angles. They hear those sounds. They know where they're coming from.
Attempted the concuss. Not going to hit anybody. Another fault line available. Jumps up over the top of it, but it still gets the stun. Now RB, the 1v1. He's got the headshot. Plenty of time left on the defuse. He can recover the operator as well. And that's going to be DRX stretching the lead now 5-3, but RRQ are making them fight tooth and nail for every single round win.
Always so clutch.
Stand like this, bro. Nice guy.
Even in times with Foxy9 there to support him, RB will be able to find those 2 remaining frags. A bit of an attempt from RRQ, but like we mentioned, it's DRX already adapting to this, and they've put up a big wall up by middle, so RRQ has to find a different solution now. They have to watch out for this operator at the same time. That is so daunting, given that they don't have the buy this round.
Okay, there's the flash, there's the attempt at the entry. The Nebula comes up, and Foxy just pushes right through. Catching them off guard. Now goes over to the shorty. Meanwhile, RB will get stunned up. Elmimore able to find the kill, but not before they lose out on Emin. Mako dropping down off Heaven. Gets him, and Foxy re-aggresses out of the smoke once more. A very swift round. A suddenly flip shot as the last man standing. It's not been very long. Foxy seems like maybe finally getting heated up after a slog of a beginning here to split after a pretty catastrophic Haven. Starting to find some regular impact. Just doubled his kills in that last round. Now 6-3.
Oh boy, and the stadium erupts in applause as well. 6-3 DRX. With these different approaches, I mean, the Poison Cloud up by mid, now they're swapping around again. We have RB still ever so present with the stars. RRQ needs a different approach. These rushes clearly don't work against DRX. The slow advances are starting to wither. Foxy 9 has to be disabled.
Oh, dear God. I mean, has he lost him?
What?
He somehow did, but he manages to catch Foxy 9 as well! One of the wildest, most absolutely sloppy entries that we've seen. People just jumping over top of one or the other. But EJ, he breaks open the site, he gets him the plant, and he keeps RRQ very much in this round.
Was he floating downwards with a shorty? Now the retake coming in. DRX seemingly blocked off. Nebula, the sprays, and then the Seekers. Surely Heaven and just waiting for this smoke to dissipate will allow them to walk through. But a man stops them in their tracks.
Mako dead, Buzz trying to push out, but Emmett is perfectly prepared for it. Had set up that flash, and there you go. A flawless here. RRQ keeping themselves in this half.
Just my fit. I have to see this.
I mean, I think he it took him a second to maybe notice Foxy 9's feet, but then he, on the turnaround, saw him and was able to steady that aim.
Oh my
Unreal
goodness.
scenes.
Nice entry, Jay. Nice one, Jay.
And this is something that we need from these RRQ players too. I mean, EJ, we know he can be explosive, but on the flip side of that, man, as soon as the spike gets planted, you have to seize that initiative. Don't allow DRX to come in with the retake that they're looking for.
I mean, look at this.
Back to a quick push.
It's a great read, and Stacks whipping the point-blank sheriff or shorty shots. It's Buzz now in danger. Tries to blast pack forward, but he's gone too far. Pharaoh takes him down. Mako snaps over, finds Elmimore, but the plant's still going to be coming through a 3v3 with Foxy 9 still holding on to this operator for the attempt at the retake. Could push into Heaven, pick up a rifle if he wants to.
Blocking vision.
Held up by elbow, a bit of a crossfire.
Do they
Tough.
read this? Oh, they do. Put some damage down, and RB, frankly, somewhat lucky to come away with the kill, but now Flipshider finds them both. It's all on Mako, and he can't get it done. And then we'll be standing at the end of it all. It's now 6-5, and Crack, we might be looking at another 6-6 half if RQ keep this up.
What is happening? Am I dreaming? First of all, Stacks whiffing the shorty? It's not something that happens every day. At the same time, off the numbers advantage, RRQ just playing off of each other with the perfect trades, every shot hitting. Down to the last one, Mako unable to clutch, despite the right reads from DRX.
And now look at the buy. A stinger for Foxy. Doesn't have the blades for 2 more charges. And EJ says, screw it, this has been working. I'm just gonna roll my way into A.
Look at the
In the
spike
meantime, yeah, Spike being crawled over towards B. So far, RB hasn't bit on the bait yet.
But if he takes this one, that would be tremendous.
Blocking vision.
It's a fake. Oh, okay, catches one. Spike now noted, but as he realized that Elmimore is this far forward, notices him now, and he manages to find the kill. What? A weapon upgrade for RB, still relatively healthy. Moves up into the smoke, but he is not prepared for this one at all. Flips catching a glimpse. Takes him down to the flank. Now EJ trying his damnedest with a shorty. And Evan on the flank out of stairs will get it done. The final 2 gunned down, and it's 6-6 on the half once more.
What on earth was that? Since when did he get there? And at the same time, RRQ, you have to respect how strong RB was, how hard he tried, even taking down Elmimore despite not really seeing it in the first spot. But then moving over onto Garage, and it's just RRQ surrounding them completely in spots that DRX doesn't expect. 6-6 again.
What wild scenes we are witnessing now. a minute and a half for both sides to collect themselves, probably for RRQ to calm down and get ready to go in this and try to seal the deal. For DRX, this is to get themselves perked up and focused, because right now, that is not what we are seeing. Players that we have come to expect so much from in the past, stumbling now against RRQ.
And you just have to think about it again. It's these problems being met with solutions from RRQ. We start off with microaggressions, tiny bits of space being taken, especially up on the A side, especially towards middle. DRX blocks it, no problem. All right, let's try out B. B doesn't work because of RB or maybe even Foxy9 being present. Let's head back towards A, and they just rush into the site freely just because of EJ and Amat. And then on the flip side of that, we have Elmimore and crazy lurks at times. DRX actually look like they're trying to catch up to these at times. Of course, we're going to swap sides now as we move to the second half, and then DRX goes on the attack. This has to be the reason why they picked a double duelist composition.
High expectations at this point. And for DRX, need to go 4-0 in pistols in this series if they want to be able to get themselves back into a winnable position and extend this all the way into a third and final map. But even with closing out all these pistols, it has not stopped RRQ from playing them so very closely. I mean, you think about it, on Haven, they won the pistol, they won the anti-eco, and then they won nothing else in the second half. That was also the attacking side.
Always with the pattern still, yes. We watch, and RRQ recovers. Mad respect to Coach Ewok and the work he's done. When we were talking about the language barrier, but now it's seemingly gone. DRX trying to approach this, but look at instant Nebula up just to block off Garage. DRX is deterred from pushing this even further.
Fully just sat back. We'll rotate away. Flipshider shifting his attention back over towards mid, it would seem. Sparrow still holding close.
Oh,
okay. A couple taps from the
up.
Ghost of RB will put him down to 37 health. And then, worth noting, not having the healing here, obviously, in the pistol round. Fairly unorthodox to see a Sky take that.
Okay. Take a look at the mini-map. First of all, long rotation. RRQ not really catching on to this. They see that mid is clear, so surely someone starts to make a move. You have 4 frenzies being held on by these players.
That guy
and they're
likes to
so
tell
far
everything.
behind.
Yeah, the rotations can now roughly begin, at least with the man starting to make his way over towards A. Sparrow following suit, just leaving Flipshider by himself. There's a double tripwire setup. Somebody got tagged here. Foxy9 into the smoke, able to find one, and yeah, it was him actually.
30 seconds.
There's just kind of running, gunning, managing to find that spray down there on a Mako. They know that he's in back sight. Foxy will be able to find the second kill. The pursuit now coming through, but Sun is in. Foxy caught trying to remove the dart.
What?
Now Buzz taking down the punch coming in on Sparrow!
Spike down.
Somehow gets the reload, the kill.
Standing.
10 seconds remaining, and Sparrow gets the 4K. RRQ, they win their first pistol round in this match versus DRX, and it could not have come at a better time. 7-6, they're back in the driver's seat.
Just going in towards elbow, and somehow with a frenzy, he rips them apart. DRX, despite just coming in together as a team to surround the entire site. One guy, one gun, one magazine. He turns it all around.
I mean, out of their seats, understandably. Now in pole position to completely take this map, this series by the horns. Far cry hope of DRX being able to pull off a thrifty here versus the firepower, versus the way that RQ are playing here today.
Very slow, very controlled. RQ bought up the Bulldogs and a Phantom on Nexfero's hands. He has to hold on to this thing.
DRX pushing forward, trying to get that ult over across. I believe Stack's the one to grab it. In the meantime, hovering around in mid. TJ Advance with the Spectre in hand, still holds all of the util. Boombot at any moment now.
Guiding Light's gonna refresh.
Yep.
Information. EJ.
They're just not paying attention to it. Emin just
Spike down
managing to
mid.
find two. And now they're set up for this flawless anti-eco.
No utility needed, Helios. The spike is down mid.
I mean, at some point they have to just try to rush them here. Mako, I mean, he'll push up, he'll get one, but the nade from behind and
30
below
seconds left.
takes him down. A couple shots across the blind onto RB. Two players weakened for him to try to deal with. Continues to swing out. I mean, that's a great headshot. Tries to get the grab set up here. And grabs the gun and starts rotating to A. And now you start wondering, RB,
Do you have time?
can he do it?
Seconds left.
He's got time. Got to go now.
Ooh.
Cam spots him.
Oh, he's going to have a whole army rushing down onto him.
And
has
he's
been
just
stunned.
still darted. He's still darted.
Whoa!
Pops one. Oh, realizes that he's close and can't quite adjust. Flipshider at 20 HP, barely gets away with that. The Bulldog and the Phantom recovered. Good damage dealt, but RRQ still maintain the lead, now up 8-6.
Good little take, but wow. The almost clutch from RB,
Guys,
and
I'm gonna go around
they
50
still
guys.
show
Nice one,
just a tactical genius and mechanics
Very low.
that it takes to perform at this level. Despite that, still the numbers from RRQ will prevail, and it just shows once more. Slight differences now in RRQ's tactics. They've bought up different weapons, sure. DRX with the full buy.
And they need to find a win here. Otherwise, RRQ will be finding themselves up to 10-round wins. They're playing off the quick flash there, Flipshider.
It's classic setup up by mid from RRQ, though. They don't have to move. They have the guiding light just to check for information. What I'm curious about is Xpharaoh right here.
And he's ready for it. Xpharaoh has been
Unbelievable.
so incredible today. RB, after his heroics in the previous round, just not quite ready for him to be that far forward. It was just one off that Cosmic Divide. It could be ever so important if the RX are able to get the spike planted.
Now you have one sole controller, and of course DRX has to kind of exploit this A site. They move in though. Elmimore has traps set up everywhere. At the same time, Flips is just on the site itself.
Spotting him. Got the cross. Foxy caught up in the trap wire for a brief little moment. The entry down. Buzz finding one. Swings on the corner. The instant headshot. EJ taken out. Flip shot displaced from the back site. 4 members strong versus 2 remaining. Phantom and a Bulldog here.
Spike planted.
Sparrow and Emin look to pull off this retake, or at least inflict some more damage. Foxy crosses.
One enemy
Across the
remaining.
screen, Mako with the lurk up ramp. Finds him and leaves Xpharaoh all on his lonesome.
Possibly going for exit frags.
Again, any kills found would be valuable. It's unlikely that DRX will give him the opportunity.
Yeah, not so much. We're trying to get a
Oh.
little bit more information. Mako holding the angle.
Almost
Trying to go
gets him.
for
but
the
They all
spray.
barely escape. He's gonna, I mean, he could swing out and try to catch him here at ramp.
Kind of has to.
Shots flying. He's looking for one. Can't quite get it done. Zax will get the headshot as Foxy falls to 8 HP. And DRX somewhat comfortably take that round, just 1 casualty.
Keeping the economy healthy.
Yeah, you can follow them.
And
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna
it
find
just
them.
shows DRX still. I mean,
Level, level.
this is not by any means missed shots or anything like that. Sometimes it just is RRQ actually playing the better game today, but when it comes down to it, and DRX really wants it, Buzz can go in for heads-up duels, and he finds 2 quick and easy, just to open up the A site. Now full buys on both sides. A Cosmic Divide being invested in the round.
Right off the rip. No fakes or anything like that, but Elmimore is out here back sight, but as he tries to go for the cage pop, Foxy 9 identifies his position, takes him down, and will this time be able to actually safely remove the dart.
Spike planted.
Cards being pulled out of DRX's sleeves now. The Cosmic Divide execute.
Don't have ramp control
Setting
though.
up around it.
Got your trail.
They're widely all here into the site. Okay, Secret now revealing that somebody's gotten forward here. Mako will find one.
RB.
Stays tucked into the corner, but should know that he's here.
Here.
Toxin's running low, the wall going to fall. It seems like the call is going to have to be made though to save on the side of RRQ.
Right.
DRX will bring it now 8-8.
Playing that long game. But still, I mean, what a take from DRX. Nothing wasted, everything optimized, all efficient. Down to Mako's little toxic screen, which gives him that corner to hide in. Completely blocking off screens, heaven, just to take it down. I mean, Elmimore was stunned. I mean, not literally, but not quite able to react in the way that he wanted.
Still though, they managed to tie it up, but 2 ults expended. They hold on to their weapons. RRQ, not in the most comfortable position, but a couple rifles here, a Sheriff and a Singer. See what they can get done, but they don't want to let DRX get too far ahead. Dropping this round wouldn't be the worst scenario, but if you open the door for DRX, we've seen it time and time again, they can go ahead and absolutely kick it down.
Yeah, it's the same door too. RRQ having the same formation mid, I think, is slowly starting to get figured out. And Xfero, the only one on the B site, has 1 star between him and the entire squad of DRX.
Now a 2nd star.
Okay.
Throws out 1. Foxy over the top, clearing. Eman able to find 1, gets a 2nd. What? Not able to stabilize their aim, but Stacks starting to roar back. RB as well. Catching EJ, the plant coming through. Flipshider, he's going to try to push through this one, but with the vulnerable, it's made all too easy for Mako. Some heals across to just keep RB back up to full health. Elmimore with the Sheriff. It'd be absolute pure heroics from him. Camera gets broken. Grab a Vandal. But the timing on the swing, ooh, narrowly missed. But Mako catches a glimpse, takes him down. The 2 members lost, but plenty of money in their pockets. DRX go ahead and they retake a lead.
Meanwhile, RRQ's economy, not the greatest, especially on Xfero's side. He's got a lot of stars to buy up, but in this round, I mean, talking about paper-thin margins, we start things off with a man actually finding some good frags, but then with the rest of the squad pushing outside of the smoke set up by RB. You just have to land those shots, and it was really difficult to do that given the scenarios, and having no flashes to support such a push. The retake was not meant to be in that round. RRQ now trying to call the timeout. Let's see what Ewok has to say.
That's the 2nd timeout now burned from RRQ. So better hope that riding forward into this next round, they're able to find a win, break this momentum away from DRX, who have since strung together 3 consecutive rounds. If that's not the case, I highly doubt that Termi is going to give you the opportunity to discuss once more with your team.
It's not even really needed. If anything, I think, how do you play against this? DRX, we've got that same Viper wall every round. It's always used in ways that you would not expect. Just great cosplay.
I think that might be a first for us.
Oh, yeah.
I don't recall seeing any cosplay so far. But hey, you're in Korea, you gotta go for the jet.
You gotta go for the jet. Still.
Sorry, did I say this round? I meant the next round. It's the one that they really need to win. I mean, if they get this one, hey, that's great. But once the full buy comes back through, that of course is going to be of the utmost importance.
How do you switch up your position? You're starting to stack up on the A side. We still have a man just kind of positioned up by B Heaven. Can get information towards middle, if anything, but DRX, just a little bit of an explosion.
This fault line
That could
be
enough.
everything. Stacks pulls back, Mako untouched, swings on the corner, and he
Oh
somehow
my.
gets that 2nd headshot onto Elmimore. Oh, that is just unfortunate, but also disgusting.
There's just a magnet onto the 2nd player's head there, so
You know, sometimes precision gunplay just works to your advantage.
matters a lot.
Flips okay. Good swing to get the punish. The Buzz running up on him. Finds that kill. Now it's just going to be Xfero tucked away. The close corner. Noted. The stun comes across. Buzz has the kill. That is Emin now. Push out, gets the flash, but Foxy saw enough to go ahead and find that frag at the end. And now the buy can come back through for RRQ, where they desperately need to try to turn the tides of this.
Still an interesting approach, if anything. It does kind of give you the idea that RRQ are trying to set up some proactive plays, some microaggressions as they push out of defensive positions. Something that they could explore, but you don't have the round lead any longer. We don't have the economy. It starts to really add up. And you have to consider if you want to go for these risks or not. So we're trying to switch up some positions. Still is a man up by Heaven, but now I'm trying to support it with EJ. DRX. Going straight to Garage.
Slow and steady inch up, but I mean, 4 members strong on this side of the map. It's Pharaoh as well, having that ult ready, but they look at them bust this one open. The showstopper goes out, finds the kill, and that's now going to be taken down, but EJ to swing out, finds one. The showstopper from himself as well, now finding stacks. Mako cut down, Buzz and RB, the last 2 standing. They find one apiece, but now RB going to be taken down. Leaving Buzz in yet another clutch situation, and as he tries to drift over, seeing that hat come flying across like he was fighting Oddjob and GoldenEye, he gets picked from the side, and Flipshider takes him down.
Just one precise shot, and will turn things around. I mean, RRQ starting to find a different way to actually just maybe play that retake scheme, maybe play the game where you deny the spike plant, but this is one where it's incredibly reactionary. It's highly contingent on timing and timing alone. You have to push in at the right spots, the right moments. And it's really tough to do it if DRX goes in for some kind of a delayed play. So coming on to the future rounds, I don't know if it's going to happen the same way again.
Just one more to go to tie it up once more. Bot in the mail, not going to spot anything, will expire by the time he gets up into Heaven.
You can see a ping out towards ramp, considering the fact that it might be some kind of an A push. DRX are just positioned up towards middle. RRQ not pushing out, not really getting too curious or anything. Boombot to check mail. That confirms it.
Presence still found.
There.
It's a 3-2 split. How do they get Emin out of this position? Trailblazer to check first. Buzz backs away, clears it. Don't believe stacks would have been noted here. Oh, that one tap into the paint shells. That'll force him out, and Buzz swinging the corner, finds Xpharaoh. Foxy9 in the meantime does get taken down, but RB now joining in, finds EJ. Seekers coming through. Will get broken down rather swiftly. Rolling Thunder at the ready. Flipshider waits for the tap, sends it as they look to flush the site. Flash is now flying, 4 members strong. The Trailblazer noted back sight. Buzz swings out, finds one. Elmimore taken down. Suddenly it's all on Flipshider as the plant comes through once again. Nade out to check the back pillar, but nothing to be found. Flips knows exactly where Stacks is at, but he can do absolutely nothing about it, and instead has to just hightail it away. I mean, surely.
No.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, Rolling Thunder was a bit of a good idea, but that said, still one that DRX knows how to work around. Just simply walk back towards backside garage, hold your ground. And RQ's retake was not meant to be. DRX a little bit more coordinated, a little bit more.
They want to hunt him so badly.
Grouped up together. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, just stare at the screen.
Stacks is 1 point away from the ultimate, so I guess why not?
To get it. 50 creds remaining. They're still pushing out. Okay, well, Flips will find the elimination, and Buzz tries to go for the spray through, but can't quite make it happen.
Not the wall bang, but yeah. Like I said, you know, the delayed push from DRX is something that can work out really well against RQ's retakes. The way that you actually just take out B Heaven instead, knowing that a man is always up by mailroom, up by stairs, in fact, as he falls back. Down to it, when you have RB with a delayed push, I think, if anything, RQ were kind of positioning for a B-split push with Xpharaoh down the off angle, but it's not going to happen if a delayed push comes in. So now, half buys, this is likely going to be match point. thought on
Oh, I hit him for 51 at the very end there. Push coming through, Buzz through the screen, able to snap onto the second. And just like that, the site broken open. DRX looking a bit more like their old selves, and Buzz, what is that drawdown? From planting on the spike to instantly taking Flipshider out. Now DRX are 1 round away from taking us to Pearl.
1 round away. We have 4 ultimates at the same time. And we just know that DRX are going to look to close this out as quickly as possible. RRQ, they might be able to buy back. They might be able to try to fight back. But who knows if it's actually going to go into overtime. It's not the most likely, I'm going to tell you that. Operator being bought out by Xfero.
Tries damnedest to get a pick, and he's in a good position for it. I don't think they have the read necessarily. What? They do not. Boxy swings right into him, and Xfero says thank you very much. A much-needed reprieve here for RRQ. Even though Boxy hasn't been the cleanest on these entries, he's at least gaining information when he does go for them.
Stacks has secret.
Flashes out. Stacks caught out. Buzz swings in, and Ahmed says thank you very much. It seems like RRQ are not done yet.
Just getting the sudden push out thanks to support from Flips.
Flips reading this quite well, but it's not quite the Caterpillar, but it's pretty damn close. Flash into the smoke, and oh, Ahmed is so good with it. Third kill for him. 2 off having that next Seeker's ult that could be so impactful going into the future rounds.
Flush him out of position. KHL's back in. Mako's alone. Everyone has their sights trained onto this one spot.
At this point, kind of surprised to just not see Mako going for the full save. Just desperately wants to get some kind of gun out of their hands. Okay, yep. But you have to know, any corner you swing, you're dead. Okay, well there's
10
one.
seconds left.
Oh, okay. Doesn't make it out of there. The Flipshider will go ahead and find another elimination. RRQ 2 away from taking it to overtime. The cash very much flush with it for DRX, and they're going to go ahead and call a timeout. Termi wanting to end this map at long last.
I don't know if you can actually predict that much, but when it comes down to it, again, still, DRX has that many ultimates. They have the set plays. We know this is what DRX does. Question is, in this timeout, although Termi can make these calls, Ewok could say something as well, and I don't know if they're able to actually predict how DRX will use their ultimates, how DRX will come in with a side take. Could RRQ find another retake just to bring them closer to overtime?
And they absolutely could. You think back to DRX versus Global, how many match points they had on split before they were finally able to close it out. I think Global at the end of it only had 2 chances. At DRX consistently, every time they got to 12, every time they got to 13, 14, etc., as we kept resetting, going deeper, they really struggled to finally put an end to that map.
It could happen.
Get kicked back here by RQ. They take it to 1 round away. It absolutely could happen yet again.
That's the thing, you gotta believe, but in all of these moments, I think Buzz and Mako have been the most consistent, especially on this map. Meanwhile, on the other side of RRQ, it actually looks like the thing that they want to disable, the player they want to disable is a man, because he's been on point.
Yeah.
Now he's on to A site.
After Elmimore's big hot start, it's definitely been overtaken by a man who's just started to run away with the half.
I don't know about this position, Achilles. Elmimore alone on B, Xfero on top of B Heaven. You don't have that much information, and except for this camera, which is just a very tiny sliver. Man's all the way on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, Seekers into a showstopper could be everything here. There it is. That's the combo. The jump in, and Buzz, well, he might kill himself, but he does manage to find Elmimore at the same time. This should help the rest of the team get into a position where they can drop this pit. Mako now moving forward. Dax taking some shots so far. The hit not coming in. Mako holding it, waits. And now goes ahead, slaps the poison gas on the floor. Foxy Knight, however, taken down. EJ with a spray, finds the headshot. Look for a little bit more. Mako around the backside. One of the bites now going to be let loose. Cosmic Divide out from Xfero. Flipshider spraying, desperately trying to fish for something. And Mako swings out, finds one. It's EJ gone. RB still disconnected here from the rest of the team. The push in, Mako gets some man. The spray from Flipshider will drop the pit, but now he's all on his lonesome. The 1v2. The wraparound, Stacks getting himself up into heaven. He's running out of time. Flipshider has to stay stuck to this one. The swing out is there. RB will find the final shot. 13-10, RRQ fighting their damnedest to try to get this 2-0, but not to be. DRX continue to find victories here on Split, albeit hard-fought ones, and that means that we are going the distance here to map number 3.
It almost could have happened. RRQ made all the right decisions, the right calls. The Cosmic Divide just to block off and split the side in half, block off Garage. All we need to focus on is that Viper's Pit, but that's it. Still, players like Mako and Buzz really know how to make their magic work in these final moments.
Something about Buzz. Drops a map and comes back just completely fired up. We saw him dominate that last map versus Gen G. That last map was in fact Pearl. See if he's able to do it again, because we can suspect that he's going to be back on that KJ duty.
And we are going back to Pearl, of course, but still RRQ. I mean, making it this close. Again, something that nobody expected. Nobody really even expected a man to go back on this sky to perform to this level, finding shot after shot. And all of these retakes with the flashes that he throws out, with the information he gains towards the middle of this map.
And I mean, look, Wiley, we weren't sure how this was going to go. DRX yet again bringing out the double duelist. Mentioned that, you know, they dropped it the first time that they played it really this season versus Gen G. And while Buzz looked great playing this Raze, it felt like Foxy didn't necessarily need to be playing Gen either.
Yep.
So we'll see how things adjust and whether or not Foxy's going to be able to get himself in that groove that we kind of saw him getting into in the second half of Split. But Buzz very much looking fired up. It seems like he just is not happy when they drop maps. Now there's one more to be played out here. RRQ still in a position to try to pull this off, this David and Goliath story, and take down the #1 team in the region. Somewhat, I'll say somewhat replicating the success from GE. It's GE, they did it versus Gen G. This is DRX, completely different story. Way more at stake here for RRQ. But first, we've got to go to a commercial break. Then, Nadesk will break down the action here from Split. Then we'll go into Pearl. So again, don't go anywhere. If you leave, you're a crazy person. Just don't do it. Stay here. You want to watch this. Up here in heaven, there's the room. Quite the one. At the ready, there's one. There's well spraying out. Good amount of damage going across this side. Buzz a bit more snapping forward. Blind spray through, and okay, he can still catch them on the rotate. Try to catch pop flash through. He's just spraying like a madman. Foxy, players here for the team, and over the top of it, but it still gets the stun. Now RB, the 1v. Maybe he'll come up, man standing. 40 shots. Too far. Pharaoh takes him down. Flipshider finds them both. Okay, catches one. Notices him now. Ooh! 10 seconds remaining. And just trying to rush them here. Maka. The entry down. Buzz finding one. Swings on the corner shot. EJ taken out. He's going to try to push through this one, but with one touch. Swings on the corner. And he there. Push coming through. Buzz through the screen. I think they have the read necessarily. Flashes out. Max fought out. Buzz swings.
I spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs of the past, as if fighting crime would bring my parents back. You actually did it.
I went back in time to save my parents. But instead, I completely broke the universe.
If you went back and changed the past, this world must die. You changed the future.
Do you know what this symbol stands for?
Means hope, right?
I will help you fight Zod.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. These scars we have make us who we are. We're not meant to go back and fix them.
What did you do?
No matter what happens, we're not going to be able to fix this. No! Nobody dies!
Welcome back to VCT Pacific. Glad to see you guys are not the crazy people, like Kilios is saying, for not leaving before the third game. This is crazy. Okay, Split was a very exciting map, and honestly, we thought RRQ was going to close it out, but didn't quite happen. It was a really close match, and it ended at 10-13.
Yeah, I mean, what an exciting back and forth so far here. Yeah, at the start, RRQ started to look, or make this map at least look like the map before it, and we were all backstage going, uh-oh, is this actually where it's going to go down? Is this going to be a 2-0? DRX, though, at the very end, a very strong performance. They really pulled it together. Foxy9, I think, really upgraded his play here. And now we're tied up 1-1. But again, a very close map, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it coming down to, I think, RRQ, playing that first half quite well. Their attacking side seemed fairly well prepared, but then on the defense kind of started to, after initial good showing in the pistol and afterwards, they started to fall into some of their old same traps. And DRX also bringing out that double duelist, right? I mean, that's probably not what RQ was expecting. I mean, it's hard to imagine DRX as a team that would change their comp on a whim, but hey, it works out. Buzz back on that raise now, doing double entry duty with Foxy9, and look at him topping the scoreboards. Clearly, he wanted to redeem himself after a kind of rough Haven on that first map.
Yeah, that KD is insane. Buzz was really pulling his weight and a little bit more beyond that. So, I mean, Foxy9, we kind of mentioned it. I don't know what was happening in Haven and even in the first half of, or at least in the initial parts of Split, still not seeing the Foxy9 performance that we've gotten used to. But at one point, it's like Foxy9 comes out of hibernation and says hello.
Yeah, there was a round, I think it was round 9, even the casters kind of mentioned it, has he finally warmed up. Now you see he's in a rough position, but he understands if I'm already stuck here, I need to make this happen to buy time. He gets the first shot by peeking out at an off timing through the smoke, and then RB sacrifices himself to provide support to cover for Foxy. And as he dies, Mako also comes down, into the site to support Foxy, and Foxy9's able to reposition for a second kill, and then he waits for the third as well. Even before this, he was whiffing a couple of his shots, but I think that round was where we were like, okay, you're back in form, your team's communicating with you as well, and now you're able to find that consistency again, the explosive Jet.
Yep, that's right. And in that final round, that was kind of a cool way for DRX to close it out. I mean, Buzz sacrifices his life.
This was a funny moment. We were speculating, okay, which clip do we want to use? This was an interesting one. So Buzz comes in. He succeeds and also fails at the same time, right? He's cracked B open, but he was too close to his own shot. And then ultimately gets nuked there. And this is a moment where, it's important to note that RRQ, they spent heavy here. They were very, very focused on trying to actually close this out. The Viper's Pit comes up, and here we get some pretty insane lurks. Now, it's DRX outnumbered for the time being. We see Flip rotating in and out of their own Astra wall, trying to figure out, okay, can we get inside The majority of the team is actually just tucked up inside, but in the very back is RP with a lurk if necessary. Turns out it's probably not going to be the case once Flip is stuck here alone. And this was just a beautiful ending. Again, an extremely close match. So fun to see. We see Flip here with the defuse, not enough time, especially when you space out the two agents like that. There's just no way to cover all the angles. They ran the clock correctly.
And honestly, when Mako's Viper's pick comes up, you're kind of like,
yeah,
ooh.
I mean, the way he was positioning himself in and out of that pit to really avoid all the danger and still catch people off guard, it goes to show why we praise Mako so much.
Yeah, definitely. Round 22, the round right before that, though, you know, RRQ did take one more round in a pretty spectacular way. You guys can go rewatch it on your own time, but that was pretty cool. But round 12, at that halftime.
Now, this is a round where the previous 2 rounds, RRQ had pushed into A site very fast, right? And they succeeded in getting 2 rounds. And so they've now conditioned DRX to worry about it. So you already see on the minimap, EJ has already broken through the site again. And DRX is like, okay, let's just hold ramp. Let's make sure we can retake A site. Meanwhile, RRQ, they're on their way into B. Now, while RB gets the first kill, he wasn't fully aware of Elmimore being there. He eventually cleans house as well. But during this time, EJ has ran through defender side spawn, and you see the pings come out from DRX, aware that this has happened. So now all eyes are on EJ. He drops down just to buy time, and it allows for Emin to come and clean up on the flank. And this is the type of setup you want to see from RRQ, where they're able to diversify their play, right? Now you're seeing that they're saying, okay, we've conditioned them for 2 rounds in a row. Let's use that as an opportunity to fake. It does get a little dicey, but again, it's good improvement from RRQ, growth as a team.
Definitely, and you know, we ended up getting to halftime at a 6-6. They climbed back into there and really made a showing. So we are going to go into the third game, and now I'm not so confident about DRX's win anymore.
You know, it's funny because, like, I'm looking at this, and yesterday when we were casting, I kind of felt this with Detonation Focus Me, where, like, they did actually lose, but I kind of felt in a way like they won. I wonder if I'm going to have the same feeling here for RRQ. No matter what, it's an exciting story for RRQ. But, I mean, they still have a shot. They could still win this. And if they do, I mean, it's probably the biggest story of the whole weekend and one of the biggest stories here for the entire event.
Oh, yeah. At this point in time on week 6, and with 0 teams having defeated DRX, if they do this, this is big news.
Yeah. I mean, any team defeating DRX would have been big news. But for now, DRX obviously continuing the series. And I got to personally say it was off the back of Buzz, right? After a rough showing on that Killjoy, he comes back on the Raze, and he just pops off. He really takes the reins, right, entirely in his own control and says, I'll carry this map. Let's go to map 3. Give time for Foxy9 to warm up, right, Mako to get back in form. And he does a great job of it.
Yeah, he did, absolutely. And it's nice to see the other guys shine, too, especially Buzz. Pearl, though, historically, at least in our short 6 weeks with Pacific, DRX has had a bit of a stronger showing on Pearl, while oh my god, I'm blanking on the other team.
RRQ.
Well, RRQ has won on Pearl. It was against DFM, and it was I don't know if that really indicated how they'll perform on Pearl.
Yeah, it's tough to say, right? I mean, that was earlier on when both RRQ and DFM, we weren't quite sure of their power levels yet. So maybe don't put too much weight on that. But now my big question is, okay, clearly the Haven, they had worked on their weaknesses after losing to T1 last week. And then Split, they had shored up. I think they've grown as well. It's just that DRX came even better prepared, you know, in the case that it's picked. So now the question comes down to, you left Pearl open. Clearly this was the next map that you were fairly confident in on the side of RRQ. I mean, what have you shored up, right, in terms of your weaknesses? And also, how much have you counter-strutted DRX? Because I don't think this one's going to be a map where they've changed their comp, right? So whatever prep RRQ has, it's going to come in handy.
I want to point out that in the very first map, when we got through the first half, I was actually saying backstage, I think that, you know, DRX is kind of holding back here. That they have strats, they're basically pocketing to go not just through this tournament, but all the way to Tokyo and maybe take the whole thing there. And so when you're a team that's that strong, you need to know when you're going to bring out your best play. But then when we went to map 2, it looked almost just as close. And so I think the fact that RRQ is this strong is becoming more and more of a reality. And it does seem like they've really hit their stride. They're in their comfort zone. And so coming in here on our next map, I think this is going to be a close one. I don't think, even if DRX wins, I think it should be a real back and forth. It should be a real exciting match. And who knows, man? Maybe we have that crazy upset of the weekend.
Yeah. I do wonder if they're going to be swapping anyone out. They switched in just now. I don't really know what they're going to do for...
It's hard to say, right? I mean, again, map 2 was not a bad map. I mean, it's a loss, right? But it was a close game inside of there, and I don't think that Emin was really, falling off.
Well, Emin was playing very well.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just say it like it is. I mean, he clutches up a couple of those rounds as well. And I think he's always individually performed well whenever he's been put in. I think it's more of a question of, how has RRQ practiced on each map? It doesn't seem like it's purely agent-based. It does seem like it's more map-based. So far, we've only seen Emin come in on that split heavily. I think one other map as well. Maybe that was last week as well. But we'll see if he continues here for Pearl.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to this final map. No matter what, it's been an exciting series so far. I love how big that mouse pad is, by the way. It's so looks like it's the size of a cardboard box that he's playing on. But look, this is also a reminder here to DRX of how strong the overall Asia Pacific region is. We don't really seem to have a bad team, even with Detonation not winning a best of 3 yet. They've played very well in many of their series.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much potential here. And we do have a sub in.
2G is coming back in.
Yeah, probably for that Harbor play, right? They've been preferring the double controllers themselves. Not Harbor Viper, but Harbor Astra the last time they played in week 3 against DFM. See if that continues. So again, it's not necessarily for the Sky. I mean, they used the Sky last time. I gotta believe that it was Xfera playing that as well, but Emin clearly right now kind of the man for split. And Xfera playing the Astra, yeah, sorry, what am I saying? Flipstrider, of course, playing that Sky, and 2G will be picking up that Harbor.
Elmi Moore casted that Hex on Mako for the first map.
He did.
Right. I almost forgot about that.
And then got denied the fist bump. I wonder if he refreshed the spell.
Yeah.
Might need it.
There's got to be a duration on those, right?
Yeah.
At the cooldown as well. I don't know what the calculations are. Has Elmi Moore really upgraded his stats enough to carry over?
Is it a basic ability or is it an ulti? We don't even know.
We don't know. But here's the thing. I mean, fairly close compositions, but obviously a difference between Viper and Astra, which is going to really change the way each team looks at B site, which is the focus for a lot of teams here on Pro because it is fairly easier to get into and plan.
DRX is looking really serious right now. They know this is definitely the closest game that the closest game they've come up against in all of Pacific. It's gonna be an exciting one. I think our casters are ready. We got Quack and Achilleos. What are the caster feels? How are you guys feeling about this last and final map for this evening?
I feel completely and utterly unbiased, and I'm just hoping to see some more incredible Valorant, because that's what's been delivered to us here across the entire day, starting with GE, now here into the series, going the distance into a map number 3, Pearl to decide it all.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Achilleos Unbiased Cass. I mean, I think that really is what it's all about, because when it comes down to Pearl, we know how strong DRX can be on this map. We've seen how indomitable they've been. They have that Viper Harbor combo that's so classic now. Everyone tries to copy it. It's always that way that they take space. But on the other side, RRQ, Astra, Harbor, slight difference, right?
Yeah. And this is kind of the second iteration of comps that we've seen from DRX. They've tooled around with a couple different things throughout Pearl being in the meta. Previously, we were seeing them, run Fade KO as opposed to this Harbor Sky, so there has been some transitions. The KJ, of course, also in the mix there for Buzz, who, again, is the player that I have my eyes on as we get into this third and final map between DRX and RRQ.
Yeah, we saw how Buzz played last week. Again, it's something about how maybe you lose one map and Buzz gets pissed. He really had those positions where we just fall back and just minimal exposure just to take players out. And he did that against Gen G, a team that we believe to be the second best in Pacific.
Well, aside from the win over Talon, DRX have always had pretty dominant showings here on Pearl. Take a look back. I mean, you think about Lock-In, them versus, BBL, Cloud9, etc. They've never given up more than 5 rounds except to Talon, but RRQ, given the way that they are performing today, fully expecting them to be able to push this to the limit, if not win the map itself. See how they fare, though, with 2GE back into the mix.
Right. Even with confidence, RRQ actually push out of mid. They're getting so much information off of this. Not sure how A main looks to them, but surely on towards B.
Okay,
The
turret placed
says
behind.
something.
Yep. Shows contact. Not sure if that's necessarily going to be in, you know, top mid, or if it's going to be coming out of A main. Either way, they're going to be expecting some kind of flank. Wall going to be raised up by 2GEs. He looks to hold them off.
Stars
Will give DRX some pause. They actually decide to go ahead and pull back away. Trailblazer jumping in, does get the stun out onto Foxy. As 2GE deciding which weapon he wants to go for here.
I mean, for long range, would have to go for that classic, but that depends on whether or not DRX still commits to this B site. Elmymore needing that mid presence just to ensure no flanks come out from connector.
Mako just clearing the turret. Another wall now being raised up here by RB. Back over onto the side. Foxy 9
2G.
dashing forward. Doesn't go for hulls quite yet. Might anticipate that somebody could have a shorty in this position, but Elmymore, playing out of link, manages to find Buzz. Mako a little bit late on that wraparound to try to find the punish. In the meantime, the spike does get planted. The site widely enveloped here by RRQ. Stacks finding one. 2GE with some spray out. Trying to answer something back. RB now going for the reload. The push comes in from one side. RB takes out 2GE, has to reload yet again. EJ finds that kill, but Stacks gets himself a second, but the defuse, it comes through, and RRQ steal the round away.
Just absolutely strong showing. RRQ able to come in at the last moment. And still, you have to wonder, I mean, we're looking at statistics of how RRQ has performed on Pearl. Their defensive side is the one that matters most. They actually did a little bit better on this side against, well, DFM. That was the last time that they played Pearl.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we've only seen it twice.
Yeah.
So,
Meanwhile, for DRX, they've just been good throughout every set that they play on this map. So despite that first loss, I'm expecting a lot more still. The Cascade being sent out now just to push along with it. It's classic DRX play.
very aggressive triple push out of A, but now they get the sense that, yeah, this is in fact going to be a hit onto the B site. Hole completely left open. That's going to give some semblance of site control here to DRX. Elmymore trying to set up for that nano swarm, and it manages to land right at RB's feet, knocking him down to 24 HP. EJ with the entry, catching Foxy 9 during the reload. Finds the headshot, gets the kill. Now they're in onto the spike once more. Mako, one fight remaining as he's set up in the back, and Stacks somehow spamming away through this nebula. Finds some eliminations. 2 kills picked up, the covering fire, the nano swarm gets the kill. Now they look to just hold this off. Flipside is so very low, and Mako will be the one to finish the job. And after a great start, RQ stealing the round away, DRX answer back, pulling off an eco win.
I mean, just the entire side of B long engulfed in a sea of green and purple. Somehow, Stacks' bullets still find enemies to hit, still find targets to hit. And in that, like, numbers were taken away. DRX, all they had to do was to hang back and hold up. They had the ghost, they had the range. RQ couldn't quite take them out despite the buy. So now, economy flourishing on DRX.
As the pendulum swings. There'll be more flip shadows, the two that opt to go for the sheriffs here. Some hefty presence and spray into a main from DRX. Orb going to be grabbed up by RB, and that does give him the ult now. Reckoning available. Mako lurking back over towards B. We'll find a nice little pickup, and that's one of the sheriffs now stranded.
That's such a difference. The map's a lot bigger now, and RQ has that much more space to explore, but at the same time, DRX can post themselves up. Mako has to flank guard. Taking down one player means the defense has been softened, and they can just overwhelm 2GE. Get the spike down. Just have a good day.
Flash in, goes behind 2GE, so not going to be too blinded up. Put some damage down, but will eventually fall as Stacks collects his 5th kill of the map. Kills coming across Xfero, getting tucked just on the opposite side of our somewhat default
30
flank
seconds
spot.
left.
Do they get a sense of this? Oh no, Flipshutter actually swinging out, finds one. Stacks eventually does manage to flush through, finds him. EJ with the classic, finishes the job. So now 30 health remaining. Knocked down even lower. It flushed out by a nicely placed bite. Mako be able to finish it. So 3 weapons going to be retained. All of the phantoms recollected here. DRX now move up 2-1.
And they still got to buy up given how they won the second round, so not too big a deal. Still impressive from how RRQ was actually able to hold the site, but this is the classic DRX take. We have that cascade up, we push in, and then we're looking for a spot to plant in. The default was clearly blocked off by Xferro in that moment, and I think that's something I'm curious to see if he'll try and attempt again, just to deny spike plants. But now, aggressive take from RRQ. Elmimore, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of damage, but certainly not ideal just to be able to get the turret set up.
They do fall back, and now they have that position in place, a presence in place. DRX, they could go back to aggress onto this, but at the same time, RQ pushing on opposite end. EJ getting a little bit more information. DRX are clearly just holding this default and trying to punish any potential mistakes RQ might make. But so far, not too hefty.
Flash over the top. Comes out from
What?
Flipshutter trying to spot him, and oh man, Elmimore with a great headshot. Since they find nothing, they start the rotate now over to B. Seekers as well as the Reckoning going to be thrown in. Elmimore spamming out back hall. Still low on HP, 2G forced off the angle. Elmimore, oh, he's just sprinting across, but how does he get those kills? RB and Stacks left dead on the ground, the spike stranded. Buzz on the flank, managing to find one, but Elmimore with some of the most unbelievable spray that I've seen. He just got them right back into this round. Buzz and Mako, two clutch players in their own right, now needing to try to close this out. A 2v4. Nano across, Flipshutter clears it, doesn't even have to back away. Buzz goes in, finishes off the low HP member, but now there's just 14 seconds remaining. Mako not gonna be able to find the kill. Buzz gets one, grabs the spike. Needs to try to go for the plant, the swing out, getting ready to come through, and they will cut him down to size. And somehow, some way, RRQ pick up the round.
Achilleos, you asked for it. You wanted good Valorant. This is good Valorant. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how it happens, but precise gunplay. He finds that first shot. Off to the second.
I mean, that is just...
The one on the right is just unbelievable. I don't know if it's luck or...
That's just like Stacks getting punished by his opponent's movement. The shot goes so far to the right.
It's like tiny bits of, it looked like movement error, right? But still, an incredible shot nonetheless. Now RQ getting the confidence to push out again. Here's the footsteps and they completely back off.
I mean, if there's one way to tilt the hell out of DRX, winning a round like that. That being said though, Funny still good going into this round.
We still have our ultimates to work with as well. On RQ's side, Elmimore looking for the same angle, just tapping away into this. DRX have managed to sneak past, and this means they could potentially push up, just take a bit more space on towards B. Maybe a B split push. They can take flips.
I like this unorthodox placement of that Nano Swarm actually right into the cubby. Looks like it does get spotted though, obviously, you know, increased reveal range now. Lockdown gonna be used as Flipshutter tries to hold the door. Finds one, Buzz answering back to get the other. Lockdown used over towards Link, and that's gonna force them out of the site. And looks like, yeah, everybody will just about be able to exit to safety.
Good bit of pressure. EJ on the other side of A main. You have 30 seconds left. What I'm curious about is if they actually push in through Arts, can EJ do anything? Will we have rotations from Elmimore to catch them by timing? Maybe not so much.
You'll hear the footsteps. I believe he just got into draw distance, so now the rest of the team going to be very privy to this. EJ trying to see if there's going to be anybody split away. Should get a sense that this is the full 4 players here onto the site. The updraft's available. Oh, the Cope, he's got to rush into it, and he's not quite going to be able to interrupt it, and RB! Oh no, he draws down an EJ! He lets the kill slip right out from beneath his fingers. 2G now having to try to bridge this position. Everybody stacked up here on Secret. Foxy9 good for the headshot, and what looked like a very winnable round is now just drifted away. There's nothing more that Elmimore can do.
Has to save. Oh my God. The stars aligned. Everything was in place, but just by sheer, I don't know, timing or a tiny bit of movement coming out from DRX, that kill was not meant to be.
A little bit sooner, getting the elimination. That spike doesn't go down. DRX would have been left in a scramble with so few seconds remaining in the round, but EJ letting the pressure get to him a little bit in the moment. It's unable to find it. And that means that DRX now take the lead once more, 3-2.
It's a good attempt from RRQ. We had the lockdown. They had the timing. They knew where DRX were headed towards. Even pushing out from Flower as well, Secret at the right time. It's just, like you talked about it, sometimes it's that pressure. As much as Valorant is, a mechanical game, precise gunplay, sometimes it's mental.
I mean, look, at the same time, you're trying to shoot RB. We've seen it so many times in the past, and this guy is just like Neo. He knows how to dodge bullets. His movement, the way that he jumps and twists his body, he just somehow completely avoids them.
Now,
seems like he can avoid knives just as easily.
Flips trying to find something. They are in pistols. Just a little weapon, anything could be huge for RRQ, but DRX are so disciplined that they're not going to give that up.
And they read this well to avoid the rifle that was retained. Not a purchase hero, but the carryover hero for Elmi Morris.
Oh!
Okay, Mako swings in alongside Buzz and frankly saves his rear. Flipshider love to try to push that wall, get the pick. Instead, we'll try to move out on this side, but there's a cove that also denies vision. Gets in front of the high tide. Continues on the push. Not watching for it yet, but now the crossfire comes in. Stacks, peels for Foxy. Mako in the meantime. He's out of here in mid, and they have the turn to play contact. So unfortunately for Xfaro, even that timing that looks so good ends up getting upset. Elmi Moore finding two, tries to stabilize for the third. Not the beat. DRX now 4-2.
We've seen that lineup from Mako before, and this is when DRX really just doesn't want to let anything up. Not even going on the aggressive just because RRQ are in an eco. That's the respect that's being paid to both teams right now. Seeing as it comes down to it though, still, Elmi Moore made it close. I mean, this guy's been popping off.
Oh yeah. I mean, frankly, even in a loss, Elmi Moore, MVP candidate.
Yes, yes.
It's been a bit of a monster here. Now, timeout obviously called. RRQ not wanting this to slip away. They know what DRX can do, what they have done on this map in the past when they start getting a lead. Like I said, only Talon have been able to take more than 5 rounds off of DRX on the opposing side of this map that I can think of, at least in recent history.
In recent history, for sure. I mean, if you remember how they actually did it, of course, we're talking about Talon, the team in 9th place in our Pacific standings, but they were really trying in that map. They actually figured out a way to, we'll allow DRX to take B. What we're gonna do instead is to wrap them around from behind, all the way from the back of B long. And although DRX tried to stick them to themselves in that firefight, they weren't able to hold it off against Talon's firepower. And that could be something that RRQ could try, but this is a very different composition.
I want to clarify my statement so people don't call me an idiot. Aside from the losses, it's been clean. Obviously they dropped it to Cloud9, they dropped it to Loud. I misremembered the Cloud9 one, I will admit that. They got bodied on that map, and then they fired back. But in their wins, other than Talon, they have not given over more than 5.
Yeah. Regardless of the specifics, I mean, DRX still definitely, without a doubt, incredibly strong showings all around. And now, just quickly in towards the A site.
He's so blind, but Elmi Moore with the covering fire. Saves him, and Flipshider actually not even taking too much damage, but Buzz does find the punish. Sight opened up, and Stacks catching Xfaro. Well, they go ahead, avoid these Reckoning stuns coming out. Buzz backing off of Art. Flipshider goes sniffing forward, trying to catch him on this flank. He knows he's in this position, but Buzz, he's setting up for some lineups.
Yes,
not just Mako can do this. I've got it too.
Swarm grenade out here.
All right.
Sends the pop, rotate through. Flipshider not reading this at all, and now he's going to go for another one. It's not needed, however, because the save call has been sounded. EJ with the operator desperately wants to hold on to this, so RRQ just going to be tucking away over on the B site. DRX going to be stretching the lead now by 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't know about you. I mean, the reason
Recalling
why, Achilleos, this is such a strong map, a strong showing for DRX, a strong side, is because of this set play. You have what it takes to just take down the A side. Maybe it's just Foxy dashing in. Maybe he doesn't get the most kills. Maybe he doesn't get the first bloods this time around. But he does create that space for his team, and that's what his job is. Now they get the spike down, you have this lineup all the way from mid. Do you realize how much time it takes for RRQ just to deal with that one player? It's so much. It's such a strong strategy.
DRX and lineups. Some might say, oh, lineup Larry. Oh, there's a cringe play. But it gets results, and you can't deny that. Now, though, speaking of some easier lineups, we'll head over towards the B side, where EJ does get stunned by the dog. Okay. Dashes to the side, doesn't get hit.
Oh.
Reckoning, though, let loose. RB looking to flush up off the site. Foxy 9 into the hall, catching Xpero. Akil found the plant coming through. Spamming desperately, trying to figure out where it is, but the Cove is also there to protect. 2GE falls to the wayside at the same time.
Placing swarm
It's two
grenade.
bubbles just
Swarm grenade
blocking
out.
everything, allowing for the safest plant ever. Despite 2GE and Xfero's efforts, it's just not going to happen. I don't think you can retake these. You're definitely probably going to try with a Sheriff and a Stinger. But,
well, can't find it there, but Flipshider with the Stinger. It gets the one.
Enemy remaining.
There's a chance at a second, but can't make it happen. Once again, EJ is going to have to try to save it. RB, I mean, he wants to get the kill. They want to take this weapon out of his hands and Stack. Suddenly in a position to maybe make it happen. EJ with a good read, however. There's the Cloudburst down. And, okay, Stacks will fall at the same time. So EJ just getting a couple extra charges towards that Blade Storm here.
I like that.
But he's unable to stop the rounds from continuing to get racked up by DRX.
perhaps not. Still, fun little Cloudburst play just to distract and allow Stacks to think that he was looking the other way. But this is DRX. This is the classic DRX that we've been seeing throughout the entire VCT Pacific, especially on this map. They have those rounds in the lead. They know that RRQ are an ego, and they are confident enough that they just rush in. They have 4 ultimates to work with in this round as well.
I mean, so far, just given the scoreline, gotta say, what a turnaround from Stacks. There are some rough times on Haven as well as Split.
Here.
Very much the one who's rallying back.
Making all the right calls still. Now just buying time. RQ all arrived on site.
Got your trail.
Okay, Seekers to go forward. Gonna clear them out. Foxy dashing in, and oh, he just gets the catch onto EJ. Take it down, looking for a little bit more. The counter Seekers now coming through into the Cove. And one more. Can take it down, but not before he finds RB. 2GE now up over the top. Finds the shot into the smoke. Down Stacks. Stuck it back, falls. He actually gets detained. Uh-oh. Is this a bait? Either way, Flipshider needs to get something done. And Foxy just not getting caught by that one. Finds a third. DRX find a 7th. The momentum is fully on their side.
Thought it might be a bait. It could have been, but still, I have to say, I mean, with 2G being subbed in now, despite the utility being good, being decent, it does slow DRX's push down outside of B long. He always throws that high tide just to cut B long in half, slow them down as they push in. The frags haven't been good. TRX always get to overrun B site, always get to overrun halls, whether it's the Reckoning or the Lockdown. Now they're back onto A.
Oh boy, this is going to be a hell of a crunch. Around the back side goes Xpero. And 6 feet under the 3 players of RRQ. Just trying to up the tempo, get a read on the situation, but DRX just better prepared, better equipped.
Yeah. Firepower in their hands. DRX feeling extremely confident to just go for every duel that they're seeing right now.
Timing! It's a Shakespearean tragedy. As RB on the hunt tries to get the shorty kill and Elmi Moore. Okay. I mean, look, I'm here for it. He's been delivering. Even so, converting this into a round win. Far Cry Hope. nothing else. He wants to push. Trying to take some weapons away, but
Oh my
at this
god.
point, there's no real hope of breaking the economy of DRX. It's just too damn strong. 1 HP, and yeah, Foxy barely needs to line it up to be able to finish that one off. 8-2 now in the half with seemingly no end in stop. DRX just plowing on.
That's now 6 rounds in a row for DRX. We talked about it, they're confident even with this push. We thought it was gonna be crunch time, but no. Instead it's gonna be soggy cereal because DRX were prepared for this push. They knew exactly how to deal with that. Maybe it's the footsteps that they heard that gave them a tell, but despite that, Elmimore still looking very much alive.
That he is. There's a pulse.
Sometimes
Jay.
what you need.
Up again. Dog gonna be cleared. Starts pushing forward, but Foxy is just watching for it. He says, yeah, I play Jet. I know what you're gonna do. And it's the up-team ult here from RB as Foxy. Elmimore looking a little bit whiffy. Foxy finds the kill. 2GE dead, and that leaves just Sparrow with no cash and a Phantom to try to get something done here. Push out of the smoke, and RB says, nah, you're not keeping anything. Nope. 9-2 DRX. They continue to just absolutely beat down RRQ here in this final map.
It looks nigh impossible to stop DRX's attacking side on this map. Again, same classic push. The cascade out, we take a bit of space. Even with EJ trying to disturb them a little, poke at them a little with this operator, it doesn't work.
Here.
Yeah.
I don't know if, about EJ's op on this map at this current moment because of that cascade. It's blocked off so much. Now we're back onto the A site. And RRQ playing a little bit more slow. Xaro trying to push out.
I mean, could just say tucked away. Looks like that's going to be the call. He's got Flip Cutter nearby here. The flash not going to spot anything. EJ with the updraft. Late Storm peek through that art window.
Huh.
Also not identifying any targets. So now, blades out the double swing, and it's going to be Foxy who's good for the shot.
I kind of know what that looks like too. Soul player being deleted. It's getting a little bit too antsy. Now the coordination's starting to fall apart for RRQ. DRX on the other hand, everything's online. Every player doing their job, watching all these angles. All we have to do, the same beat execute. Can Elmimore actually hold this back? They have some ultimates to work with. RRQ, the lockdown, the Cosmic Divide, maybe a bit of a retake play?
I've got your trail.
Here we go again. The B-side take. Sliggy is excited about this one. This Ghost Stream. Seeker's going to be cleared out. Elmimore over towards Link. We're going to get rid of those. A lot of vision denied away. Is Foxy going to go pushing through? He catches Sparrow. And now he's trying to rotate out. 3 players detained, though, on the side of the RX. There's one cleared up. There's the second. Mako providing some covering fire as RB is trying to hide. He's around the backside of holes, and somehow he has survived. Now gets the catch on to one. EJ will also fall, and it just felt like that was the best possible opportunity to detain on the 3. And those are the only 2 kills that they're able to get, unfortunately, as RB survives, and we get a 10-2 half. DRX clearly woken up after split, during split, I should say, and they are looking to shut RRQ down once and for all.
That's right. Even Foxy's finding kills, Stacks on the top, Buzz doing everything, and in all of these dire situations, when it seems like it's almost a victory for RRQ, Mako comes in, the Viper Spit, just to protect his teammates. What a tank. And now 10-2 at the end of the first half. Man, this pistol is, I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, even winning it, there's such a staggering run back ahead of you. And if RRQ, look, if they could manage it, it would go down as probably one of the greatest run backs, if not the greatest run back that we have seen. Going from this deficit against a team of DRX's caliber, given what they've been able to achieve against, top opponents on the international stage, yeah, I think you'd have to say that this would be a new record set by RRQ, but it just feels like such a faint thought, a whisper on the wind.
That's right. I don't know if I can hear that, Achilleos. We're just taking a look at statistics again. these might just be numbers. RRQ did have a better half against DFM's attacking side on Pearl, but at the same time, DRX has shown that they are strong on both sides. 60% win rate on the defensive side. Now they're going to play that. We saw how Buzz performed last week. We saw how he did against Gen G. The way that he uses his utility just for extra bits of map presence, the way that he falls back bound by bound, leap by leap, it's really difficult for attacking teams to find a little gap.
Slaps again. It's saying something about having to go to school tomorrow on the sign. His previous one was saying, if you put us on camera, I'll hit my friend.
Oh.
So, decided to do it again.
Thank you for translating, Achilles. You're all right.
When I can, when it's possible, which is very rarely. But this is everything now for RRQ.
What I can do. But yes, everything for RRQ. This pistol round, even if they win it, right? I mean, if they can win it, that's how we start things.
Push forward. Orb going to be grabbed. Seems like they want to prioritize Flipshot being able to get this Seekers online. Meanwhile, Spike being brought over here towards B. The usual arrangement.
Toxic screen is available. We're not gonna make any noise, but Stacks definitely with a jump peek, probably information gained. It's a bit of a B split setup, but RB's aware of this. So are Stacks and Foxy 9.
They make their presence known now. Better having to back away. Foxy 9.
Oh no.
Oh, right here on the flank. He is still gonna be good for one, but Foxy, he's good for two. There's anything you can do, I can do better. Gets the 2x, flip shot it out, 37 health. This is surely the home dwindling. RB will find Xsparrow. They'll go ahead and just spam through the wall. Foxy with 3. DRX now with 11 rounds total. Another pistol round victory collected by them.
Not to mention, I mean, now they get to buy up, and seeing as what they might be able to, what they might purchase, this is now potentially match point, a 12-2. If they can end it off 13-2, that would be the fastest, I think, map that we've seen so far. RRQ,
Careful.
I don't know if they still have that fight left in them, but
still though, quite a bit of expenditures here. Only more down to 800.
Firepower on the side, confidence and space. DRX are taking what they can get. RRQ, on the other hand, slowly, surely inching forward, just looking for a tiny win. The alarm bot in their face, though.
Right on the opposite side of that wall, too. They're not ready for it. Pump flash goes out. RB, okay, well, just spray and pray, hold it down. Buzz and RB, picking up 2 apiece. Now only more sat here at A main saying, guys, what in the hell just happened over there? And they have every inclination, every right to expect that he is going to be sat here at A main because they have him completely and utterly surrounded.
Slowly into it, but nah, it's not going to happen. Still, we're expected to see good Valorant, and we're seeing incredible, perfect Valorant again from DRX. The timeout being called now by RQ. Their one chance to try whatever they might. 2-12. I don't.
Look, at this point, I think we can kind of move away from the, the conversation about the run back, the miracle run to get them into OT. If it happens, obviously, minds will be blown. But I think from here, it's about capping off this series in a little bit more of a respectable way. You know, you don't want to go out, as so many teams have previously, where you take a map off of DRX and then you get the ever-loving hell beat out of you in the final map.
Yeah, remember Talon. Still, they know they can take risks. You have to anticipate the fact that they might be able to actually push out, push up, find bits of space. We saw it with the cascades, with the walls. And then RRQ might be caught by surprise. There's so much to consider. Thoughts in their heads. The fan sign still.
I didn't catch it.
I think it was one for RB.
Wow.
But here's one for the desk. I mean, take a look at this scoreline that we've got. How many rounds in a row is that since round 5 for DRX? I'm not even gonna.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Well, okay. It's about 8. Yeah.
And now they're looking to finish the job. Another purchase back in the hands of RRQ. Good pressure.
Guardian.
They push forward. I mean, surely EJ's not going to be the one to swing out in the lane.
That's an interesting side.
Yeah, I mean, gets a decent amount of cutoff here.
A-lane control, we bypass that alarm bot. Surely we know it's there.
RB just backing away. Here's the position over. Buzz letting loose with the Nano Swarms. Just trying to dissuade them from getting their way forward here onto the site. Do make their way in, though. Nope. Shots flying. EJ trying to catch him. Swing onto the corner, and it's going to be RB taking down the enemy jet. 2GE. Tagged up just a bit. Sparrow able to find one.
Look at Flips.
Brings it down to a 4v4, and yeah, as you say, Flip Shutter, he's trying to go for this deep flank, but it is only with a Guardian, and losing out on a couple extra members. Now Elmy Moore going to be taken down. Buzz here on the corner. Flip's able to find one. Foxy swapping over to the Frenzy, going to be good for a kill. The spray down through the orb. Sparrow finds the kill. Pop flash, but it doesn't get the coverage.
Oh,
it
he's
doesn't get the blind. It just sat here
No!
into the smoke, and they're just going to hold it for the defuse.
Win.
2 players left alive. It does not matter. Sax is on his feet, beckoning on the cheers from the audience. As they make a statement, they say, all right, you made us bleed. You pushed us. You took a map away from us. But no one, not yet, does anybody get the topple DRX.
Not Gen G, not Paper Rex.
There was basically nobody having expectations for them to be able to take this. I mean, obviously, you throw a Hail Mary prediction their way, and then they start running with it. They take away Haven, a map that DRX has not lost on so far here in 2023, that they have always looked fairly dominant on. And then they also play a fairly close split. And it does unfortunately feel like RRQ needed to have that 2-0 closeout in order to make this possible. But at the end of the day, TRX, they just have a lot more experience with these longer series in high-stakes situations when that pressure is mounting against you. They're able to persevere here at the very end.
In the international experience. Termes lineage, I mean, everything from DRX, these guys have done it all. And they know exactly how to play pro. Again, I'm just going to talk about it. This is one of their strongest maps now. Nobody has taken them down yet. They maybe pushed to certain limits, but that's about it.
Yep.
It was certainly impressive that RRQ were able to challenge them on split a little bit closer than before, even taking down their Haven, but still.
DRX clearly, after the 2 losses on Pearl over in Lock-In, they took that very personally. And they very much worked to course correct it, and they have. As the team will go ahead and get their photos after I think it was a much more stressful evening than they might have anticipated. Again, I think that people are going to say, wow, RRQ couldn't get it done, they choked at the last map. I don't think that should be the storyline here. I think we should be singing their praises for being able to push DRX as hard as they possibly could, given the expectations, given their own match history and scoreline coming into this series, because this was tighter than we could have ever anticipated.
I mean, remember those rounds where Elmy Moore had maybe like a little bit of a lucky shot perhaps, but also with the Sheriff, that was pure skill. You have to credit